Good afternoon, everyone. It is 3 o'clock, and I'll call the meeting to order. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, extend a heartfelt welcome to all who have joined us, both in person and virtual, for our May 28th, 2025 public board meeting. We're pleased to celebrate and acknowledge special guests, principals and assistant principals who are either joining us for special recognition or simply to support the board at today's public board meeting, starting with our 3 Excellence in Catholic Education Awards recipients. And you don't have to applaud them now because we're going to applaud them afterwards. Christopher Ferguson from Archbishop MacDonald High School and Principal Michelle Dupuis. Daniel Moisan from Sister Annetta Brockman and Principal Alicia Fenton, along with, and now notice how I'm going to introduce these two very, very special guests here to honor their dad, Daniel's children, Thomas and Michael. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Let's give them a round of applause. We love the kids, if you can tell. We love the staff too. And of course, Tia Myrick from Archbishop O'Leary High School and Assistant Principal Gabriella Ferretti McKinnon. Also joining us today is, let me just make sure here. Also joining us today is Principal Tammy Miskew from St. Martin and Assistant Principal Kathleen Hamanashi Lohner from St. Philip. Now, usually, there they are. Okay, usually I have our ATA, and I do, yeah, there she is, from our ATA Local 54 President, Amber Nicholson. Amber, I don't know if Owen is back there. He's not, okay, but he's usually here, right? Like he's so religious, so thank you very much for being here. And joining us virtually are some of our student voice ambassadors, and you're going to meet them a little bit later. Well, you'll see them a little bit later on. And of course, to our division's Lumen Christi staff, our senior leadership, and any other division staff and guests who are here today, welcome. A special welcome to each and every one of you. And as a community of faith, we'll open with our meeting with 1.1, and it gives us great joy to turn it over to Father Julian. Thank you, Father Julian, for leading us in prayer.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair Palazzo, Trustees, Chief Superintendent Anderson, brothers and sisters in Christ. Let us begin, as we always do in a Christian Catholic tradition, with God's great sign of love for all of us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. When Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and go to the Father, he said to the disciples, "I still have many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now. When the Spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all the truth. For he will not speak on his own, but will speak whatever he hears, and he will declare to you the things that are to come. He will glorify me, because he will take what is mine and declare it to you. All that the Father has is mine. For this reason I said that he will take what is mine and declare it to you." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord.
Friends of Jesus, Jesus says in today's Gospel, "I still have many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now." What honesty and humility we hear in those words. Leadership, especially faith-filled leadership, requires the same patience and discernment. Not every decision is clear. Not every challenge has an immediate solution. But the promise is this: the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, will guide us. Jesus goes on to say he will not speak on his own, but will speak what he hears. This is a striking reminder that in the Trinity, there's no division. The Holy Spirit, the Son, and the Father are in perfect unity. In the same way, Catholic education thrives when it is marked by unity, not uniformity, but shared purpose. As trustees, you are called to lead collaboratively with each other, with superintendents, with clergy, with parents, and with students themselves. You model unity in service of a greater mission, the formation of hearts and minds rooted in the gospel. Finally, Jesus tells us that the Spirit will declare to you the things that are to come. This is not just about foretelling the future. It is about preparing us to meet the future with faith. Catholic schools are not just about preserving tradition. They're about forming students to live and lead in today's world with courage, clarity, and compassion. Your leadership ensures that the truth is not simply taught in classrooms, but embodied in the culture and witness of each school community. You help make Catholic education not only excellent, but truly faithful. In closing, this gospel is a reminder that you are not expected to carry this responsibility alone. Christ has given you the Holy Spirit to guide you, and you are part of a church that prays for you and for you and with you. May the Spirit of truth continue to guide your decisions, bless your leadership, and keep you always rooted in Christ, who is the way and the truth and the life. And on behalf of the church, I would like to thank you for your faithful service. And at this point, the response for the following intentions is, Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayer.
For Catholic education, that our Catholic schools may reveal the glory of God in all that they do, we pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
That our Catholic schools may fill students with a love for learning and a desire to change the world for the better, we pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
That all our teachers, staff, administrators, and trustees in Edmonton Catholic schools may be strengthened for their important task in our world and be blessed with God's abundant mercy, we pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Grant, we pray, Almighty God, that receiving the grace by which you bring us to new life, we may always glory in your gift. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. The Lord be with you. And may the blessing of the Lord be upon you with his grace and love for all of us. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Father Julian, that was extraordinary. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, we wish to express our gratitude, not only for today's prayer, but for the beautiful reflection. Truly, it resonated with all of us, and the way you articulate every reflection is truly resonates with us and in our hearts. As well, we want to applaud you for your guidance, your faith leadership, and for being a champion of hope of Edmonton Catholic schools. Thank you. Moving on to 1.2, I'm going to turn it over to Trustee Ingle to please read our land acknowledgement. Trustee Ingle, if you could please put yourself in queue. Thank you very much. Go ahead, please.
We acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of Treaty 6 and homeland of the Métis. We also acknowledge the Inuit and other diverse Indigenous peoples whose ancestors have marked this territory for centuries, a place that has welcomed many peoples from around the world to make their home here. We, at Edmonton Catholic Schools, commit to restoring and honoring the truth and reconciliation calls to action. We strongly believe that truth must be acknowledged to move forward to reconciliation. Together, we call upon our collective communities to build a stronger understanding of all peoples who dwell on this land we call home.
Thank you very much, Trustee Ingle. Next on the agenda is 1.3, roll call, and we'll note for the record that all trustees are present. We will now move on to 1.4, approval of the agenda, and I'll turn it over to Trustee Mutala, who's in queue, to please make this motion. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I move that we approve the agenda of today's meeting for May 28th, 2025.
Thank you very much. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
No, thank you.
Thank you. And seeing no one else in queue, we will now call the vote. Thank you very much. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, we'll note for the record the motion to approve today's agenda as circulated is approved. And by doing so, consent items 1.4.1.1 management letter and all recommendations contained therein have also been approved. We'll now move on to approval of the minutes 1.5.1, and I'll turn it to Trustee Harris, who's in queue. Go ahead, please, Trustee Harris.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the minutes of the regular board meeting 25, April 30th, 2025 be approved.
Thank you very much. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
And once again, seeing no one in queue, we will now call the vote. Thank you very much. Once again, as all trustees have voted and are in favor, we'll note for the record that the motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of April 30th, 2025 is carried. Moving on to 1.5.2, as there are no matters arising from the minutes, we'll move on to 1.6, Excellence in Catholic Education Award recipients. Beginning with 1.6.1, Christopher Ferguson, and we'll turn it over to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So each year, Edmonton Catholic Schools names 3 teacher or administrator recipients for the Council of Catholic School Superintendents of Alberta Excellence in Catholic Education Award. Recipients are chosen based on their significant contributions to creating a culture of excellence for staff and students in the wonderful journey of Catholic education. Chris Ferguson, chaplain and teacher at Archbishop MacDonald Catholic High School, is a beacon of faith and service. His deep understanding of Scripture and daily actions inspires students and staff alike. Chris leads the school in prayer, organizes meaningful celebrations, and fosters strong school-parish relationships. Beyond the school, he contributes to Catholic education at a broader level, organizing professional development and supporting pre-service teachers. Chris embraces building bridges between the Catholic Church and Indigenous peoples. His dedication to social justice initiatives and fostering inclusion make him an exemplary Catholic educator, consistently reflecting Christ's presence in all he does. We wish to congratulate Chris for being a role model of faith and service. And so, Madam Chair, our recommendation is that the Board of Trustees recognizes and celebrates Christopher Ferguson for receiving the Excellence in Catholic Education Award.
And of course, your principal's dying to get a photo of you. And rightfully so. Those were some pretty powerful words. Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson, and congratulations, Christopher. Where do I start? Do I congratulate you because of your significant contributions in being a beacon of hope? Do I congratulate you because you've answered the call to faith leadership? Or do I congratulate you because clearly your pastoral guidance, along with your dedication and steadfast commitment to building bridges and fostering inclusion, is to be applauded? Your dedication to Catholic education is a testament to the power of faith leadership. Thank you for fostering and nurturing a culture of excellence for the students and staff at Archbishop MacDonald High School and the community at large. Incidentally, and everybody knows that this is coming, I had the great privilege of working with your dad. And he, like you, created an indelible mark on our division. And to this day, I run into former students, and this is no word of a lie, it just happened not long ago, who shared that he was that teacher. He was that teacher who impacted their life. And I'm not kidding you. Kids would come early to registration because they needed to be in his class. And why? Because he cared about them. And everybody knew that. Like, when you act authentically and when there's transparency, everybody sees it. And that was your dad. And obviously, that's you. Your compassion and your empathy doesn't fall far from the tree. Your exemplary service, Christopher, makes you a valuable asset and a blessing to our division as a Catholic educator. And before reading the recommendation, I do see trustees in queue, so you have to sit there and listen to all these wonderful things about you. So first in queue is Trustee Harris. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Chris must just be hating us because he's a very humble man, right? This is kind of nails on a chalkboard for him, I'm sure. But you know, I had an opportunity to meet Chris even before I was a trustee. In fact, when I was initially running as a trustee, and you know, you could tell he was very, very engaged even back then. Amazing that engagement through so many years. Chris, you know. Our chair had mentioned this. I just found this out recently when you mentioned it. Your family tradition here, the fact that your father was an amazing teacher as well, and certainly has, and your brother. I understand your brother's also a teacher with us. So it's amazing how this this blessing is ripples out and is amplified within our division. You're a humble man. You're deeply loved. You're deeply respected. You are an incredible gift for our division. I think about your connection to the students. I've been at many, many events where Chris has been the guy that is helping to make it happen, helping to make it real for the students. And you're a man of deep faith. Your incredible passion for social justice. I was just at your recent bike-a-thon. I think you folks raised 95,000. Chris was very instrumental and active in terms of helping steward that process, that passion for social justice. You are an open and engaged communicator. I'm not sure you're as comfortable with it as you appear to be, but you're there, you're in front of those students, always communicating, and they just soak it up. They love it. You absolutely lead by example. I want to express my deep thanks to you, not only for answering the call, but for fully embracing it. It's a beautiful calling, and you have embraced it. Thank you so much for making it real for our students, for your colleagues, and for our community. God bless you, man. Really love you.
Thank you very much. Incidentally, I taught with your brother as well. You always want to affiliate yourself with excellence, right? Next in queue is Trustee Engel. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. And Chris probably isn't looking forward to me speaking because Chris has been, Mr. Ferguson Sr., Brian, was instrumental in the lives of both of my girls and all of their friends. They both are very committed to their faith, and a lot of it has to do with Mr. Ferguson, and it takes them a long way. Kids would come to the house with trouble, and everybody, whether they went to JP or where they went, said, set up a point with Mr. Ferguson, he can fix it. And so I just want to say that I hope you pass on to your dad how many lives he touched, that I can't even count them all. And you as physics teacher, my daughter now, a doctor of physics, Rhodes Scholar, a professor at Calgary University, and she learned it all from the one and only Chris Ferguson. So he is not only an excellent chaplain, an excellent person who moves the faith, he's also a physicist. And so, thank you, Chris, and please, because we've had this opportunity, pass on that your dad will never know how many lives he touched. Thank you.
Sweet.
Thank you very much. Rhodes Scholar, huh? Okay. Thank you. No, I can. I got more. I'm sorry, Chris. You just got to stay patient. They really would not have been happy with me. Trustee Tiber, you're next in queue. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know your dad, but I really wish I did. But I want to say what an honor it is for you being a beacon of faith. You know, we all need somebody like that in our lives. And you're doing that for high school students. That is remarkable. And it's not easy, I'm sure. But you know, you've done it. And that's why we're here honoring you today. So never lose that. And thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Trustee Tiber. Next in queue is Trustee Mutala. Go ahead, please.
And I never knew your dad either. And I never had you teach me physics, but I think if you'd have taught me physics, I probably would have done better in physics. Anyway, a big thank you for all you do and being a beacon of faith and service and the leadership at Archbishop MacDonald High School. And I just want to say congratulations on winning this award. It's a very important role that you play with our students, and we're very grateful for you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Trustee Mutala. And next in queue is Vice Chair Tuchansky. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In school, I was never the brightest bulb in the pack, but my brother-in-law is a physics teacher, and he's really great and cool. And now I've met a second one, and now I think that's where all the cool teachers go, is physics. And had I known that back then, I might have tried to grind it out a little bit harder. You would have asked me to leave your class, just like Uncle Dean does. But you know, what is extraordinary is the fact that you are a really neat teacher, and to have somebody like that as an example for our children with their faith is extraordinary, because we have a very typical faith-filled person in our minds that don't necessarily follow the ideal of somebody who is really uplifting and neat and make that interesting. And as my colleague mentioned, particularly in high school, you know, we're all in as kids and students in elementary, and then it starts to wane slightly in junior high, and then practically non-existent in many cases in high school. And the fact that you live it and you bring our kids back to it and they actually enjoy it and find it extraordinary is remarkable. And I had a teacher that was like you. Then they changed my life. It was extraordinary. And so every student does deserve somebody that has a lifelong impact on them, and that opportunity, every time you hear their name or any reference, you think, that's why I'm here, and it's extraordinary. So thank you. We had a great time at Spice. I was so excited to hear Ryan speak about you. He was so proud of all of our individuals, which is lovely. And I actually wish that you guys were at Blueprints, because of course our whole group was there. And just the sheer joy that we had and the kindness that you had when I was trying to take photos of you guys was really lovely, and photobombed a few. But that was really a joyful moment for us and for me in particular. So I look forward to talking about the rest. But the fact that, you know, you guys change our lives as students is pretty remarkable. So thank you.
You know, and thank you. So I am going to read the recommendation because we have another 2 outstanding honorees that we need to recognize today as well. But I just want to pick up off of what Vice Chair Tuchansky said. When she came back from Spice, she said, you know, it's so powerful to be in a room with a bunch of educators who are there for the right reason. They're there because they have a passion for Catholic education. You're not there for your own personal interests. You're there to ensure the education of our most prized possessions, our children. So kudos to the 3 of you. Thank you. And seeing no one else in queue, I am extremely honored to read the recommendation for the record that the Board of Trustees recognizes and celebrates Christopher Ferguson for receiving the Excellence in Catholic Education Award. Congratulations once again, Christopher. Our next excellence because excellence, I just keep saying it, excellence. Our next Excellence in Catholic Education Award recipient is 1.6.2. You're not a number though. Daniel Moisan, and I'll turn it back over to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And trustees, I'm delighted to share our second award recipient. Daniel Moisan is an exceptional educator and faith leader at Sister Annetta Brockman Catholic Elementary Junior High School. As chaplain, he demonstrates his commitment to spiritual growth and guidance within the community. Daniel regularly attends church, volunteers with the St. Thomas More Refugee Sponsorship Ministry and Knights of Columbus, and integrates faith into students' lives through school prayer, celebrations, and faith-based teacher professional development. He is deeply committed to student academic success through individual empowerment. Daniel's dedication, compassion, and innovative approaches make him an invaluable asset to the school, going above and beyond to support his students, colleagues, and community. Congratulations to you, Daniel, for your commitment to Catholic education. So our recommendation is that the Board of Trustees recognizes and celebrates Daniel Moisan for receiving the Excellence in Catholic Education Award.
You know, thank you, Chief Superintendent Anderson, and congratulations, Daniel. And, you know, as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, and how do you have time to be a father, and obviously a great one at that, and I'm going to speak about that right away. But again, to you as well, thank you for the significant contributions that you have created in a culture of excellence for the students and staff at Sister Annetta Brockman. Clearly, your passion, very much like your fellow honorees today, also is about engaging youth and inspiring them to be disciples of Christ, coupled with your ministry. And obviously, all that you put into your servant leadership speaks to the meaningful interactions in fostering positive and a culture at your school and community that is all about relationships, because that's what kids remember. And that's what people remember. They don't remember the mistakes you make. They don't remember what you do wrong. They do remember how you make them feel. And obviously, based on what we're hearing today and what we've heard about you and all of the accolades that your staff and your principal have shared, makes you one of the best. That being said, you ensure the permeation of our faith is embedded in all that you do. You are a blessing and an asset to our division, and it is with great gratitude that we express our appreciation for making a lasting impact on the lives of your students, your colleagues, and of course your community at large. But the fact, and this is what I really want to capitalize on, the fact that your children are here today speaks to who you are as a father. Thomas and Michael, there's no doubt that having you here today, you, like your dad, are great ambassadors of your Catholic faith. And I can only imagine how proud you are, because we're proud. And to see the both of you here in supporting and honoring your father, and you're so polite and you're amazing, obviously that comes from the amazing environment that you're raised in. So kudos to you as well. And so before reading the recommendation, as you can tell, the queue's getting full. So I'm going to turn it over to the Board of Trustees as they too would like to share their sentiments. First in queue is Vice Chair Tuchansky. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It gives me just such great joy to speak about you in front of your children, for them to see how impactful you are to so many students and kids that are not them. And particularly as a mother, knowing that my children would rather die than come here and honor me. So quite frankly, that's also pretty extraordinary. And how lucky they are to have you as a dad. Like, that's pretty great. And I think the fact that you are so attentive to your own parish, what a gift that is to the students who go there too and can see their teacher there. Like, that is something that is extraordinary. The fact that, you know, you are there in those kind of middle years, like we know the high school is hard, but you pass that gift of faith on to the high school kids or teachers. And the fact that you're there representing that is pretty extraordinary. I know whenever I saw a teacher in church, I thought, wow, isn't that great? Like, they're here too, like not just school. And it made them also a regular person to me. So they were gifted and talented, much like yourself, but also a regular person. And the fact that your two children are here too just shows the extraordinary love and pride that they have for you, and the fact that they want to be a part of this. And it is extraordinary. The fact that you teach at a school who's named after somebody with gigantic shoes is just such a gift to see that you also are following in those footsteps and making your mark, not only in your faith field, but the fact that you are clearly an extraordinary teacher also. And again, like I say, it was so fun at Spice to hear Ryan speak of you too. And I almost wanted to be the guy reading. I was thinking, I thought maybe a trustee could go up there at some point in time and read, because the idea of the write-up was so great, and the fact that he was so prideful of his staff was really remarkable. So congratulations on this, and I am just overjoyed that your boys were able to be here with you for this too.
Thank you very much, and thank you for representing all three of them at Spice, Vice Chair Tuchansky. Next in queue is Trustee Mutala. Go ahead, please.
Daniel, thank you and congratulations on winning this prestigious award. And what an honor to work at Sister Nada Brockman School, because I knew her personally and I worked with her at the Basilica when we did the RCIA together. Just thank you for your ministry as well as Knights of Columbus at St. Thomas More, and to do all the refugee work as well. We are very grateful for all of that and setting a good example, and we are so happy to see your sons here today, and hopefully they'll follow and become teachers, because we always need good teachers. Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, thank you for picking up on that one. We're hiring. Yeah, so that, I'm just kidding, but we really are hiring. So if you have any desire to go into education, it's the most rewarding profession, and we can talk afterwards. Next in queue is Trustee Tiber. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So first of all, again, thank you for coming and supporting your dad. I know, I have kids too, and to get them to come here sometimes is, it's not exactly what you want to do after school. But at the end of the day, it's the family values that you bring. So, and that comes from somewhere. So now to Daniel, being at Sister Nada Brockman, it's like, it's a challenging, overcrowded school. Now that's a topic for another day, altogether. But to be recognized within a busy school and bringing your faith, your leadership into your school through prayer, celebrations, that means you're engaging with students. And that is a challenge sometimes that, not all students, sometimes like, oh, I have to go there. But to have that energy and that bringing that faith component into our schools, and of course, Faith PD, it's just so important. And to lead others, it's just so great. And I really look forward to following your career and to see where your teaching career leads. So congratulations. And we'll be keeping an eye on you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Tiber. And thank you for saying, and again, I'm going to piggyback off of just one more thing that she shared, and that's that I think a lot of people who've never been in a school, and you're not a teacher, they don't really understand what's happening. They really don't. And I know because my own family doesn't. I've been in education for over 40 years, and I would come home at the end of the day and weekends, and I'd still be working, and they would think, yeah, but it's Saturday. We know the reality. And obviously what you're doing, again, along with your fellow honorees here, is because of the passion that you have in you to make a difference for these kids. So thank you. Notice how it's always been about your kids, though? But that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Trustee Engel. She's probably going to send you for ice cream or something. Who knows?
I do think that somebody should take you for ice cream because you've all done an amazing job. But I basically want to say thank you. Your dedication as a teacher is one thing, but your dedication as a Catholic leader. And combining the two, we're just so grateful to have you. This is a very prestigious award. And I know if Sister Anata was here, I knew her personally too, she would just be beaming from ear to ear because you are certainly representing the values that she stood for in terms of faith, dedication, excellence in your work. And I too, I marvel at the fact you have a family life, you're a Knights of Columbus, you're involved in the church and parish, and you're an award-winning Catholic teacher. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will turn it back to Madam Chair, because she always likes the last word.
Yeah, no, you know what, I'll wait until the very end this time. Trustee Harris, thank you very much.
sorry,
Thank you, Trustee Engel. Next in queue is Trustee Harris. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. Daniel, thank you for being a wonderful witness of the good news, of the gospel news. Thank you so much for that. In taking a look at this, I saw that this isn't just something you do, it's who you are. You're actively involved in your parish. You're very involved with respect to the refugee sponsorship ministry. What a beautiful thing, helping some of the most vulnerable people, some of those in most need. Member of the Knights of Columbus. In fact, when I finish being a trustee, I'll probably be able to spend more time with you because I think that's my council too. It's just I haven't been able to go to it for the last few years. But I really want to express deep thanks to you for everything that you're doing for our students in terms of leading by example. And also, as like my colleagues have mentioned, I was so delighted that Thomas and Michael were able to be here as well. Thank you for doing that. And I guess they're both students at your school, so that must be a fun situation. I love what you're doing, and I want to thank you as a family and for sharing what you share in our community. God bless you, man.
Thank you very much, Trustee Harris. And so, seeing no one else in queue, I'm honored to read the recommendation for the record that the Board of Trustees recognizes and celebrates Daniel Moisin for receiving the Excellence in Catholic Education Award. Congratulations, Daniel, and thank you to your amazing children, Thomas and Michael, for being here to honor you. Thanks to all three of you. Thanks so much. And as good things always come in threes, our next Excellence in Catholic Education Award recipient is 1.6.3 Tia Myrick, and I'll turn it back over to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you very much, and I'm very pleased to present our third award recipient, Tia Myrick, who is the English department head at Archbishop O'Leary Catholic High School, and she exemplifies Catholic values in her role as an educator. She creates a warm and inclusive environment where all students feel welcomed and safe. She generously invests her time in leading students to academic success. Tia's dedication to student success is evident through her initiatives like the Exceptional Spartan Award and the Diversity in Education Leadership. Her commitment to the arts and celebrating diversity further enriches the school community. Tia also lives out her Catholic faith in her family life as a member of the Our Lady of Perpetual Help parish. So we congratulate you, Tia, for creating a safe, welcoming, faith-filled environment for our students. And our recommendation, Madam Chair, is that the Board of Trustees recognizes and celebrates Tia Myrick for receiving the Excellence in Catholic Education Award.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson, and congratulations, Tia, for your significant contributions to creating a culture of excellence. Now, I'm not surprised that you spearheaded many initiatives, one of them being the Exceptional Spartan Award. So as everybody knows, in case you didn't hear, I'm a former, I worked at Archbishop O'Leary. Yeah, do you know that? Yeah. And it is an amazing school. The only thing, Tia, is that we never came up with an Exceptional Spartan Award. And so when I saw it on social media and I saw the recognition that many of these students were getting, and staff included, I was extremely impressed and overwhelmed. And again, I just don't know how, there's only 24 hours in a day. There are only 5 days in a week. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how you do it all three of you. That being said, your commitment to the arts and celebrating diversity not only enriches the Spartan community, as we all know, but truth be told, everyone, Tia's commitment to the arts, to excellence, and to Catholic education comes as no surprise to many who know her, because this passion that she's demonstrating today was evident way back when. I had the privilege of watching Tia perform on stage with my daughter, who was much younger than her, and she looked up to Tia as a role model. And at that time, this dance group came to support a passion play that, get this, Archbishop O'Leary, we put on a passion play and Tia and the dance group danced. And it was a beautiful demonstration of reverence, of passion, on Good Friday. So I just want to tell you that has always stayed and resonated with me. And of course, to see you today doing exactly the same work, but now you are not just impacting a group of little ones, you're impacting the biggest Catholic high school in Edmonton Catholic. So kudos to you. Tia, your ability to work collaboratively and ensuring that the voices of all are heard is critical in creating the warm, welcoming, respectful, safe environment that we know that you're creating over at Archbishop O'Leary High School. You promote the well-being of all, and you foster community support and spirit. And that's what it's all about. And I'm just so impressed, proud and honored to be here today and to recognize you, because our Catholic faith is pivotal in all that we do, and of course you bring that forward in spades. You are a blessing and a valuable asset to our division and to Archbishop O'Leary High School and to all of the students, staff, and community that you serve. And of course, don't know if you know, but Tia's mother was also a teacher, and I worked with her, and she was an administrator, an excellent one, with Edmonton Catholic School. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there as well. Yeah, I know, they're getting tired of me. But that being said, Tia, congratulations, and I'm going to turn it over to my fellow trustees, as they too have wonderful things to say about you. First in queue is Trustee Engel. Go ahead, please.
Thanks very much. This honor reflects your incredible dedication to your students, your school community, and the mission of Catholic education. Your faith-filled leadership and compassionate teaching make a lasting impact on every student that walks through your doors. We're so proud of you, and we're so grateful that you're with Edmonton Catholic Schools. Trustee Turchansky always makes reference when she sees a teacher, if I'd have been in your classroom, I would have done well. When I walked in, and I don't think we've met on a lot of occasions, but when I walked in and shook your hand, I just felt a warmth that as I'm listening to Chair Palazzo talk about you, Chief Superintendent Anderson talk about you, I could feel that in your handshake. It was just there. And that's a gift. Thank you very much.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you very much, Trustee Engel. Next in queue is Trustee Mutala. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Tia. I just want to say a big thank you for sharing all your Catholic values in your role as teacher at Archbishop O'Leary High School. And I want to say thank you, Madam Chair, for sharing all that extra information, because it's really important for us to know that. It is. It's a wonderful thing. I also want to say thank you for all your initiatives that you take part in. You know, that's really important for our students, and it encourages them and it helps them to want to be there. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Trustee Mutala. Vice Chair Tuchansky, you're next in queue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Usually Trustee Engel talks about ice cream for other things and wine for this event, because usually one trustee. So I just want to reassure her that I was there and I represented us well, and I did buy wine, Trustee Engel. So I just want you to know my job is done for that. So no ice cream for you, it was wine. But, you know, the fact that you represent a safe and caring environment for our students, just that resonated with me. Our kids are struggling these days with so much. And, you know, we've got diverse learners, and our equity and diversity is being challenged, you know, across the country and so forth. So the fact that you're a safe space for our students just resonates so deeply with me. And then going forward with that, a lot of people think that faith starts in the church and brings it to the school, but in fact, it's the other direction. If you are kind to our students and kind to people, that's the evangelization, and then they turn it around and bring their families and parents to church. So it's an interesting dynamic that you have probably created without you even knowing the impact that you've had on families, right? By being kind to our students and giving them that opportunity to be who they are, they take that out and evangelize not only you but everybody else. So it's pretty extraordinary. And one last reference to Superintendent Fian, when he was speaking, like after he spoke 1 and 2, you know, he was full of pride, but a bit of smugness for number 3. Like he kind of came up there, it was like, of course, we have 3 with us at Edmonton Catholic. So it was so fun to be there, and I was cheering and woohooing because it is. When I look at the 3 of you, it is extraordinary to know what our students have in their educators, and I can't say that everywhere. I certainly had some really great ones, and then I had some that could have been you guys, and they would have made a big difference. So thank you for what you do, and all 3 of you guys are pretty extraordinary, and our families are so lucky to have you guys in our schools. So thank you.
Beautifully said. Thank you very much, Vice Chair Tuchansky. Trustee Tiber, you're next in queue. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So first, congratulations. So we have another high school faith leader amongst us, which is amazing. And again, another amazing teacher that's going to inspire our older students, or if you think about the other side, our young adults, because you are the last role model that some of our students will interact with. And your commitment and passion to recognize students and to keep students feel welcome. And like our mission says, you inspire students to learn, prepare them to live fully, and serve God and one another. So thank you for living out our mission of Edmonton Catholic Schools.
Thank you very much, Trustee Tiber. Next in queue is Trustee Harris. Go ahead, please.
LT, I want to express deep thanks, sincere thank you for being a beautiful witness, walking the talk, leading by example, a witness to the love of Jesus in our world, in your school, in your parish, in your community, and as I say, in our world. So thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. And seeing no one else in queue, I'm honored to read the recommendation for the record that the Board of Trustees recognizes and celebrates Tia Myrick for receiving the Excellence in Catholic Education Award. Congratulations, Tia. Now, the 3 of you realize that we could talk about you for the remainder of the public board meeting. But what we do need to share with you is that all three of you who are well-deserved recipients of the Excellence in Catholic Education Award are servant leaders. And because of that, We applaud you. We applaud you with this. Well done, good and faithful servants. Thank you. Now, we're done.
Make them stay.
With the three of you. However, this is a long meeting, and we want you to stay. We really do. However, giving you the gift of time, and while we can't tell you what to do, and we certainly don't want to put you in the position like, how do I leave now? I'm going to turn it over to the big boss here. So Chief Superintendent Anderson, are they free to go? Absolutely. Gift of time to the five of you, and may the principals go? I think I've got a hand going up there. Yes? Principal Dupuis, are you, you know what? I would anticipate, there's probably a conference room somewhere around the corner that I'm sure you all have to meet about, just right around the corner there. Yeah. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, yeah. Run.
Window of escape.
Opportunity. Yeah.
Just follow Father Julian.
Yeah. And thanks to all the administrators who came out to support our three. Thanks, everyone. What a delightful start to our meeting. And the delight continues as the first agenda under business of the meeting is 2.1 student voice. And we'll turn it back over to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So some may not be familiar with Student Voice, and Edmonton Catholic Schools has a long history of providing opportunities for student engagement to inform the work of the division. Our Student Voice team is comprised of 2 students from each high school and assists the board and administration by providing a student perspective to improving the quality of education in the division within the framework of the Division Plan for Continuous Growth. I'd like to turn it over to Executive Director Susan McCauley as she will share what occurred this year with this incredible group of students. Over to you, Susan.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson. Madam Chair, Trustees, I'd like to share with you that we are being joined virtually today by 4 of our Student Voice representatives, Gift Azubuke, Stephanie Katajan, Lynn Castro, and Dwayne Peralta are online as part of a Teams meeting. Our Student Voice team met 5 times this year, and the matters which were discussed were of significance to our division. In October, they shared their thoughts on areas of strength and areas of continued growth as we update our equity, diversity, inclusion, and anti-racism strategic plan. They also helped us understand what school-based student voice looks like across their schools. In November, our team was engaged in discussion about the mechanisms for and importance of feedback in their learning journey. We also explored how they viewed mental, spiritual, and physical wellness. In January, these young leaders helped us refine what learner competencies we could expect in an ECSD graduate, as well as the conditions that need to be created in order to ensure those competencies developed over the course of their years. In March, our Student Voice team helped us to explore the impact that a school name has on our young people as a role model and cultural root. They also provided insights into the changing nature of parental involvement in student education and school life as students age and progress through the years. Finally, in April, our Student Voice team provided insights and potential names for our new schools and on potential new names for our EDIAR work with a focus on the perspectives of youth. The Student Voice team requires great commitment, maturity, and collaboration from each member to function properly. Our members are to be commended for demonstrating these attributes on an ongoing basis and for representing the voice of their peers effectively, responsibly, and thoughtfully. We would like to acknowledge the contributions of Gift Azubuke, Katie Harasimiuk, Isabel Domingo, Katarina Udod, Lily Hummel, Jyothi John, Sadie Friesen, Maya Palka, Braxton Yamchuk, Lynn Castro, Jacob Dooling, Osirim Omarodian, Anna Ray Bork, Lillian Scherf, Kaylee Lynn Court, Emily Rachel Kim, Asia Luna, Swain Carangle, Dwayne Peralta, Stephanie Katajan, Nathan Bellis, Mia Carvalho, and Mary Balchin. A letter of commendation will be sent to each member of Student Voice. We would also like to thank the graduating members of this group for their service to Edmonton Catholic Schools, and we look forward to meeting with this group in the 2025-2026 school year.
Thank you, Executive Director Macaulay, and I'd like to extend a thank you to you as well for taking the time to plan such thoughtful activities where we could really have the voice of our students shared and their perspectives shared. And so to our students, I want to thank you as well. As mentioned, your commitment, your maturity, the collaboration. You came at every meeting full of energy, full of ideas. And thank you for representing your peers so respectfully. And I do want to wish you much success as some of you are going on. And for those returning, we look forward to seeing you in the fall. And so, Madam Chair, the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees acknowledges receipt of the report Student Voice 24-25 for information purposes.
And don't run away. Thank you very much. And so we'll give them a round of applause. Yes. Some of them are on the screen. Thank you, Chief Superintendent Anderson. This is truly, truly extraordinary. Executive Director Susan Macaulay, maybe you just want to stand there, because the passion that you shared in facilitating these engagement opportunities throughout the year, and of course, to this mission, to ensuring that we get the opportunities to meet with our extraordinary student voice. I'm not even calling them ambassadors, because that's what you are. You're ambassadors, and whose voice this past year was instrumental. You were extremely instrumental in the quality of education that you have given us much to think about, which served as a mechanism. It served as a mechanism to helping us understand the unique perseverance of our students. And so on behalf of our board, we applaud you. We miss you. We miss you already. We love coming. I mean, regardless of what meetings we had during the day, everybody struggled. And when there was one of us who had a different meeting, they would say, well, can we change it? Because I really want to be there. So I just want you to know that the meeting with all of you took precedent over everybody else's, honestly. And it's because of everything that you brought. You truly are the authentic ambassadors of hope. You came in and you are. You're respectful of one another. You are respectful of this division. You are reverent. You are true believers and advocates of Catholic education. And for that, we applaud you. Your participation this year in everything that you have provided to us has left an indelible mark on our division. And I'm now going to, of course, share the discussion, because you know this board, many of you sat with you at your tables, and I know that they're going to want to say a few things themselves. So please bear with us for a little bit more. I'm going to turn it over first to Trustee Harris. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. One of the things I think that speaks to how important the Board of Trustees considers these meetings is the trajectory of this over the last few years. When this board first came aboard, we basically had two trustees that were meeting with this team of students. I think it was 4 times a year. And there was such value that the board understood that it was getting from this, that then converted to the entire board. 5 of us wanting to meet with our student voice representatives 5 times a year. So it is an excellent mechanism. I want to thank the administration so much for creating that structure. Thanks, students, very much for your commitment. You were even coming on school breaks. We had at least one meeting there that was a school break, and the entire room was full of students coming in, taking their own personal time to come in. We want to thank you for your commitment. We want to thank you for your insights. We want to thank you for your positive energy. Every meeting, as Chair Palazzo mentioned, was a delight for us. We very much look forward to these meetings for the insights, for the learnings. You certainly broadened our perspectives greatly. These were great interactions that we had on substantive matters. And I want to thank, of course, our excellent facilitator, Susan McCauley, for this. Susan, the preparation for these meetings was excellent. The presenters that you brought in, the subjects, the facilitation of the meetings was just absolutely excellent. All the preparation. The other element of the structure of this is that we generally have one grade 11 student and one grade 12 student from each of our high schools. Of course, the grade 12 students move on. The grade 11 students then can carry on, and all of them, to my knowledge, have accepted that they would want to continue to be on this. But of course, what that does is it provides some continuity. So even in terms of understanding the legacy of this, it's extremely well designed, and it adds tremendous value. So students, I just want to express our deepest appreciation and thank you very much all.
Thank you very much, Trustee Harris. This is why you have to stand up there, right? Thank you very much. Trustee Engel, you're next in queue. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I, of course, want to thank all of our students who participated, and I'll comment on that in a minute. But I also want to thank Susan McCauley for the excellent job she did in keeping us focused, but allowing just enough fun to make everybody want to come back. I really want to thank Chief Superintendent Anderson. She runs a very, very busy schedule, and I don't think she missed any student voice meetings since she has taken the reins of Chief Superintendent. I want to thank Christine Meadows, because one of the benefits was getting to know her. I got shoved in a group with her quite often so she could keep me in line. And the representation from other administrators and, of course, EDIAR representation. So thank you to all of you. Now our students. Wow, you guys were incredible. I learned so much from you. It wasn't just your participation in the wonderful group activities we did that informed board decisions. What also informed board decisions and informed our comments is being with you and listening to you working so hard to get accepted into university, or where you wanted to work after high school, or into the trades, listening to your dreams and listening to how hard you're working and the hoops you have to dance through to get to the end result of what kind of career you want. That was just so inspiring to watch you and imagine how you went on so little sleep. And then you were just so much fun to be with that I can't thank you enough. And student voice, I hope, will always be an important part of this board. It started many, many, many years ago, and it's taken a variety of formats. I think this one, although it takes the most energy on behalf of the students, the board, and our chief superintendent and administration, it is definitely the most valuable. And I think one of the proudest moments I had was about 8 years ago, and I was out with my colleagues for dinner. And the waitress said, "Trustee Engel?" And I'm like, "Do I know her?" And she said, "I remember you from Student Voice in 2002. So it was just wonderful to have made that connection. And so many of those students I still connect with today through, starting out writing letters for them to education institutes or potential employers, to them saying thank you, and then we meet again. So they continue to have an impact. And so to this group, for the 2024-2025 school year, and I don't say this every year, you were the best. Thank you very much.
Some of them are going to say, yes, we were here last year. We were grade 11 students. You said that last year. But you are the best. Thank you very much,
We
Trustee.
can have more than one best, but you guys were the best.
Thank you very much, Trustee Engel. Next in queue is Trustee Mutala. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And my colleagues have said such wonderful things, so I'm not going to repeat everything, but I want to just say thank you to Chief Superintendent Anderson and Susan McCauley for all your hard work and dedication in putting this whole initiative together, because it has grown in the last 8 years. And we are very proud of our students because they give us beacons of hope for the future. When I listen to these young adults and how smart they are and how they speak about everything and how they show commitment to their time and how mature, and they collaborate and they bring all this information to us to share with us. And it's such a wonderful experience, and I'm so grateful that we had it and we are able to do this. So we'll look forward to it again next year. Thank you, students. Good luck with grade 12s. If there's any grade 12s on there, good luck with your finals and everything and your future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Mutala. Next in queue is Vice Chair Tuchansky. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So seeing this group, of course, I know our future is strong. They are truly extraordinary. But first, thank you, Susan, for your extraordinary guidance and the fact that you manage the trustees so well who want to jump in and have their say before the kids because we think we're so smart. And then you say to us, no, it's about the students. You are really great, and we need their light to shine particularly. But you also are very flexible when we want to talk about different topics or get the students' slant on things. You're very willing to do that, which is extraordinarily important because there's some things that you've thought of that are really, really great. And then the last time we gotten together, you just think, gosh, it would be so nice to get the students' perspective on this because they are so wise. And, not surprising, they represent their whole school, which you don't often find. You find kids at that age tend to look at things through their own lens, but these kids were extraordinary. And what was even more extraordinary is the fact that you've got a grade 11 and a grade 12 student from a school that are probably in very different peer levels, different grades. They probably don't often associate during the regular course of the day, but come together as peers and colleagues, shoulder to shoulder, to inform us of a lot of the questions that we have and ideas that we would like. And I knew this group back when you had them weigh in on our standards of dress, because that was such a critical piece for our students at school. We thought, kids should dress a certain way, but they reminded us that's not what they're selling in stores, that it shouldn't be gender biased. And you kind of took a step back and thought, of course, like why did we not think of that? But it's extraordinary to have our youth remind us that although with age comes wisdom, it doesn't always make us smart either. So this was an extraordinary committed group. They dug right in, and it was just an absolute pleasure to see them on an ongoing basis. And I look forward to seeing half of them at grad. We saw one already, and that was pretty joyful. We got a nice little wave. And I looked forward to every meeting, and I look forward to them again next year. And we're certainly grateful that you guys and your colleagues were able to join us at our meetings. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Tuchansky. Beautifully said. Trustee Tiber, you're next. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I too want to say thank you as well. What can we say about our student voice? You do not know how many times I have said, I've heard from our student voice. And then after explaining what that actually means, that's when people start thinking, oh, okay, this actually impacts our students in the school. It's not just a policy somewhere. And you, again, do not know how many times this board, during the public board meetings, have referenced, we've heard from our students that this is important. So for that, your impact is definitely felt across the division. But I'm also able to explain student perspective. Like, you've brought fun, you've brought excitement, you've brought, heartfelt presence to our trustee boardroom, or to our other room. And, through the snow, through the exams, through the breaks, really nothing has stopped you from coming in because it's important to hear what you have to say. And I'm always amazed that the topics are always relevant. And it's hearing about how our decisions impact the schools from a student's perspective. It puts a whole new light on, when we are making decisions, truly what is best for our kids in the school. So I want to also thank Chief Superintendent Anderson and Susan. You've brought your wisdom in so many ways. And like Trustee Tuchansky, I always want to thank you for being ready to pivot and really discuss matters that are real time, real world to the board and the division. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Tiber. Seeing no one else in queue, I'm going to reiterate a few of the sentiments of my colleagues. And once again, not only commend our talented and gifted students for your leadership and your maturity, and that's what you demonstrated to us. You were mature well beyond your years. There are adults who I know who don't demonstrate the same maturity that you do, and I'm not even being facetious when I say that. It has been a privilege and an honor to work with each and every one of you. And of course, to our graduating members, it's already been shared today. Of this team, we wish you all the best and God's blessings as you embark on your new chapter and journey in your life. And there's no doubt that you are going to make a difference in the world. But before reading the recommendation, there's one exercise, and I'm going to address this with Executive Director Macaulay, that you had our students do that stayed with me. And you asked them, many of you, some of you, the majority of you have been with Edmonton Catholic for 13 years. And the question that was asked is, what impact did the division make on you in 13 years as ambassadors of Catholic education? And we were asked not to respond. She even removed us from the table, if you recall. And there were pages upon pages upon pages that many of you wrote, and you spoke to that. And I was in awe. And all I could think about is, you got all that out of, and for them, they spoke about their high school. You didn't even go back into elementary, otherwise we would have needed even additional time. I want to commend you for that, and I want to thank you and share profound gratitude for being stewards of Catholic education. Thank you. You are truly, truly amazing, and we sure hope that some of you are coming back next year. I think you are. And for those of you, your peers who are not, please give them our very best. I know that you've established a relationship. You've all established a very close relationship with one another. Thank you. And I'm proud to read the recommendation for the record that the Board of Trustees acknowledges receipt of the report Student Voice 2024-2025 for information purposes. Thank you once again. Thank you, Executive Director Macaulay and Chief Superintendent Anderson. And next on the agenda is 2.2 Bus Pass Fee Schedule, and I'll turn it over to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So as we unpacked our budget 2025-26, we had Superintendent Fiacco and his team exploring options to find ways to maximize our transportation funding. And so at this time, I will turn it over to Superintendent Fiacco to provide further details.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson. Madam Chair, through the Board of Trustees, thank you very much for this opportunity to present this very important topic. Transportation Manager Chris Salerno and I are here to present the 2025-2026 Student Transportation Fee Schedule, a reflection of the growing pressures on our transportation system. As enrollment rises and demand for yellow bus services increases, we are challenged by rising carrier costs, reduced provincial funding, and new eligibility criteria that will impact over 1,500 students. Despite our efforts to optimize routes and share services with Edmonton Public Schools, we continue to face a structural deficit in transportation. To maintain safe, equitable, and efficient service without further diverting funds from the classroom, we are adjusting transportation fees for the upcoming school year. This decision is rooted in our commitment to fiscal responsibility and service continuity to our families. I will now invite Transportation Manager Salerno to provide more background information and details behind our bus pass fee schedule for 2025-2026.
Following the 2023 provincial budget, Alberta Education instructed school divisions to reduce transportation fees due to increased transportation funding. In May 2023, we presented the 2023-2024 fee schedule, which included reductions in transportation fees for families of up to $4.75 per month per student. This reduction in bus pass fees meant the division would collect approximately $725,000 less in the 23-24 school year and $775,000 less in the 24-25 school year. At the beginning of this school year, we awarded new carrier service agreements to our yellow bus contractors, which included adding routes to reduce ride times and address student accommodation needs. These contracts were established based on the funding that Alberta Education had communicated to us as part of Budget 2024. Unfortunately, after our contracts had been awarded, Alberta Education communicated a funding calculation error to us, which decreased our actual funding by $1.4 million. The combination of fees and funding cuts resulted in a significant revenue shortfall in transportation services for the year. Provincial transportation grants and student transportation fees fund student transportation. Grant funding supports school divisions in providing transportation for eligible students. However, this funding does not cover all transportation costs. for eligibles, in the 2024-2025 school year, provincial funding accounts for approximately 77% of total revenue, while transportation fees make up 23%. As you can see from the graph, funding and fees consistently fall short of transportation expenses, which forces the division to divert classroom funding to cover transportation deficits. Due to various factors, transportation expenses have increased by 86% since the 2010-2011 school year. The demand for yellow bus services has increased by 25% over the last 5 school years. Despite this rise in demand, the division maintains the same number of yellow bus routes as in the 2019-20 school year at approximately 440, while students experience a similar average ride time, 21 versus 22 minutes. It should be noted that the division is not experiencing a bus driver shortage with any of our contracted carriers in the current school year. On December 16, 2024, Alberta Education announced a change to the distance eligibility for K-6 students from 1 to 1.6 kilometers effective September 25. This change means the division will experience reduced transportation funding as fewer students will be eligible. This change in eligibility will impact approximately 1,500 yellow bus riders across more than 200 routes. If services are provided to the affected families, school divisions will receive 1 year of transition funding for the 2025-2026 school year. Alberta Education has not provided the exact amount of funding at this time. To minimize costs, the division continues to share routes with Edmonton Public Schools where possible, currently sharing 22 routes. Carrier costs have increased by 32% over the last 5 school years. Despite ongoing efforts to ensure the division provides safe and equitable transportation while remaining fiscally responsible, it has historically experienced a deficit in transportation services that requires cross-subsidization of funding meant for the classroom. The division will raise transportation fees for the 2025-2026 school year to address the overall transportation deficit and reduce cross-subsidization. Unfortunately, further increases may be necessary if transportation funding does not improve or if the division wishes to maintain service levels for families. ETS fees are increasing from $57 to $60 monthly. Kindergarten to grade 6 yellow bus pass fees are increasing from $32 to $50 monthly. Grade 7 to 12 yellow bus pass fees are decreasing from $57 to $50 monthly, and there is no change for students receiving curb service transportation. The fee schedule aligns with EPSB for the 25-26 school year, eliminating discussions with families about why fees differ between the two boards. You may ask why we have reduced yellow bus pass fees for grade 7 to 12. Often we hear concerns from families regarding why the bus pass fee is higher for an older sibling while the younger sibling rides the same bus. We have essentially switched to a service-based fee schedule, which aligns with EPSB. Therefore, the fee will be the same regardless of age, depending on the service provided. Families will receive a letter outlining the fee increase this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Salerno. I now turn it back to Chief Superintendent Anderson to read the recommendation.
Thank you, Superintendent Fiacco, Manager Salerno, and I see transportation team at the back as well for joining us. And just want to thank you for just how you're diligent in implementing changes to always improve transportation efficiencies, reduce ride times, mitigate the need for cross-subsidization. The recommendation is to ensure we remain fiscally responsible while minimizing impact to our families. So thank you for that. And so, Madam Chair, the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees acknowledges receipt of the 2025-2026 student transportation fee schedule for information purposes.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson, of course, Superintendent Fiacco, and Transportation Manager Chris Salerno, and your amazing team. Thank you for extensive presentation and, of course, for apprising the board of the transportation challenges that we're experiencing due to the pressures that you've shared. Enrollment growth, ridership demand, funding challenges, carrier costs, eligibility changes. But despite this growing deficit, you and your team remain steadfast in your commitment to deliver safe and efficient service to our students. So you and your team, Manager Salerno, are to be applauded for your great diligence. It's unfortunate that the provincial transportation funding that through them we're not receiving, it doesn't cover the full cost that we need, and so we have to resort to cross-subsidize the funding intended for the classroom. That said, it's of no fault to any one of you, but we certainly recognize and we need to support. We need to get these kids we need to get our kiddos to school and back home again. So Edmonton Catholic, we assure you that we remain committed to delivering safe, efficient, and accessible transportation services. And before reading the recommendation, I will turn it to the board, as I'm confident they would like to share their sentiments as well. First in queue is Trustee Mutala. Go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And I just want to say a big thank you to the team, everybody who's made this report and give us this report today. I just want you to know, as trustees, along with our provincial counterparts, ASBA, we have advocated constantly to our education minister about the rising costs of transportation for the growing number of students in Alberta. And although funding is provided by the provincial transportation grants and the students' transportation fees, this funding does not cover. And it's not just our board, it's a lot of the boards in Alberta. So thank you for the report, and we will continue to advocate. And we have our spring general meeting coming up in a week, and we will be seeing the minister there and maybe a few other people that maybe we can say that we are in difficulty again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Mutala. Next in queue is Trustee Engel. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Superintendent Fiacco, Chris, and your entire team. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being of great service to us as trustees when we are fielding many parent questions throughout the year, especially at the beginning. So thank you for that, and thank you for your patience with us. We have gone through this a couple of times in our caucus meetings or governance and priority meetings, and there really is no way out of this. As Trustee Mutala said, it's province-wide, and so we're swinging to the Alberta School Boards Association to help us with lobbying for additional funds in transportation, because it certainly isn't just us that is suffering. We can also, along with that, the City of Edmonton, I raised the question, like, how have they been with bus fees? And the answer from our administrative staff was they've been very good. They've lowered bus fees. They've really tried to accommodate students. But where we can lobby municipally is in the area of how many buses they run and what routes they take. Because in addition to questions about yellow bus service or bus fees, I also get questions on how long a junior high student has to ride an ETS bus to get to their designated school. So finances are big, and we're seeing that here with the motion that we have no choice to make to keep our budget balanced. But there's other ways we can lobby too, to increase routes by the city. And so there's work to do both provincially on the side of funding, but also locally and municipally on the side of how many buses run, what routes do they take, where do they stop, etc. So we're on it. So thank you for answering all the trustee inquiries that had to do with transportation. Chief Superintendent Anderson was very quick to tell us how we might be able to help. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Engel. Next in queue is Trustee Harris. Go ahead, please.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. Thanks for the presentation. Thanks for the earlier discussions on this as well. Growing enrollment, obviously, very significant increase in demand, growing city, new routes, looking for efficiencies in terms of combining routes with Edmonton Public. I hear 22 of those routes. Changing eligibility requirements, and yet at the same time, you know, we're still running, obviously, even though you've increased these costs, a significant deficit in it. And I think for me, you know, that understanding that is coming from fees that or funds that would otherwise be going to our classrooms, right? So it is a very difficult balance that you are working on. I want to applaud you folks, the entire team, administration for working this through. You've come up with fees that are consistent with our sister boards, so we eliminate some of those questions that come up. You've come up with fees that have a service-based, as you say, service-based schedule and fees. So as tough as that is going to be for some folks, that makes sense intuitively. So therefore, I am supportive of where you're going with this. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Trustee Harris. And I just want to, seeing no one else in queue, I will just reinforce what my colleagues have already said. This upcoming weekend is our spring general meeting, and fortunately, we will have an opportunity to speak with the minister and the premier at that time. And of course, we've already spoken to the executive director over at ASBA, and we all everybody recognizes this is a provincial issue and that some changes have to be made. So we'll continue to collaborate together and to be able to, and we're working as metros as well. So the four metros, as you know, the metros come together, and this is a concern that all of us are experiencing. That being said, thank you once again for your great diligence. For the record, I'd like to read the recommendation for the record that the Board of Trustees acknowledges receipt of the 2025-2026 student transportation fee schedule for information purposes. Thank you so much to you and your team. Thanks, everyone back there. And we just have the last person. And next on the agenda is 2.3, Division Operating Budget 2025-2026, and I'll turn it over to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so since the provincial budget was released, we know the financial services team has been diligently unpacking the 2025-2026 budget. And so today we have CFO Schultz, who will share the fine details of our operating budget.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I am pleased to present the Edmonton Catholic School Division budget for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. The budget is being presented for board approval. I would like to thank all those involved in the development of the budget. With extensive stakeholder engagement required in its development, it is truly a division-wide effort. It involves input from the board, the Audit and Finance Committee, the Chief Superintendent, the superintendents, the principals, school councils, parents, and students within those schools. I would like to highlight the involvement of the Board Audit and Finance Committee, which is chaired by Trustee Harris, with membership including the remainder of the board, as well as external members Valerie Berger and Deacon Wayne Provençal. I would also like to extend a special thank you to the financial services team, and especially Norm Schmidt, who is seated in the back, as well as Farrell Antoine, for all of their hard efforts in putting together this budget. During my presentation, I intend to cover the following major areas: funding and the provincial environment, student basic education fees and transportation fees, stakeholder engagement, support for inclusive education and new curriculum, division cost containment and efficiencies, as well as a summary of the budget process and assumptions that play a part in its development. First off, with management discussion and analysis is funding and the provincial environment. Budget 2025-2026 presents an operating deficit of $12.1 million with revenues of $613.6 million and expenditures of $625.7 million. Increased operational funding was the result of a number of factors. Increased enrollment, increased grant rates in comparison to the previous year's budget, shift from the weighted moving average to the two-year average adjusted enrollment method. The impact of these factors was partially offset by the removal of the enrollment growth grant. The operating deficit is driven by the following factors: rate, benefit, and grid movement increases for staff, inflationary pressures for utilities and other supplies, as well as the ongoing investment in inclusive supports within division classrooms. The focus for the division prioritizes resources being invested in the classroom above all else. The impact on the ASO balance resulting from the deficit, ASO standing for Accumulated Surplus from Operations, it results in a planned drawdown of the ASO of $11.7 million. The ending ASO balance as of August 31st, 2026 is budgeted and expected to be $25.5 million, which would translate to an ASO of approximately 4.1% for division. This will result in the division balance being within the expected minimum of 1% and the maximum of 6%. However, as been discussed in previous years, the division cannot continue to rely on the use of the ASO balance in the coming years. As a result, it will continue to look for efficiencies throughout the division. Next up, would be student basic education and fees. As highlighted by the transportation team who came before me, transportation fee increases were required to maintain the overall sustainability of our transportation system, and the division continues to look diligently for efficiencies in its transportation system to assist families moving forward. The overall fee process has not changed in the current year as well. Oh, I keep getting a double. Division engagement. Formalized engagement in the budget development process was consistent. Formalized engagement during the budget development system involved an approach that was with consistent communication throughout the school year. The approach connects with the Board of Trustees, senior management, school, and administrative leadership and staff throughout the division and throughout the year. We also remain committed to the students and parents who choose Edmonton Catholic Schools. Support for inclusive education and new curriculum. The division continues to invest heavily in these areas. While funding increased due to increased funding rates, this was offset by other factors. It is currently the division is currently allocating almost $20 million in excess of targeted funding to address inclusive education issues and new curriculum. This represents an increase of $5.4 million from the previous year. Fiscal landscape. The shift in the funding model was welcome, but its impact was somewhat muted due to the removal of the enrollment growth grant funding. Rate increases to all government grant rates ranging from approximately 1.1% applied to the K-12 per pupil funding and 20% applied to the classroom complexity were provided above those provided in last year's provincial budget. These rates were increased in July 2024, and the increases were carried over to the 2025 provincial budget. Division cost containment and efficiencies. The focus on putting funding in the classroom and increasing the number of classrooms across the division to address increased enrollment. At the same time, the division is looking towards more cost-effective options as it pertains to new schools. Schools are becoming more consolidated and larger across the division. The amount spent on administration still remains well below the current cap of 3.2%. And again, we'll just highlight funding to the classroom continues to be prioritized over administrative expenditures. The budget process, it involves working with staff throughout the division to ensure resource decisions are made while understanding the impact of initiatives on all areas. It is truly a collaborative effort to ensure that resources are spent wisely and that the majority of the dollars show up in the classroom. It involves interaction with the Board of Trustees throughout the year so they are well informed as the year progresses with no unwelcome surprises at the end of the budget process. Our key budget assumptions for the current year, an enrollment increase of 2.4%. We continue to operate using a differentiated and site-based funding model for schools within the division. It should be noted that the funding distributed to the schools on a per student basis was increased by 1.1% in the current year, which is an increase that has not been seen in a fair number of years. That being said, a portion of the inflationary pressures are to be managed by departments and schools throughout the division. Again, system administration costs remain below the required maximum. As for detailed schedules, the budget statement of operations with expenses by program, and I would like to note that all comparisons relate to budget 2025-26 versus budget 2024-25. There was a revenue increase of approximately $18.9 million from $594.7 million to $613.6 million. This increase was driven by increased Alberta education grant amounts, primarily driven by the increased rate as well as the increased enrollment. Fees increase, a portion of which relates to the increase in transportation fees, and it is offset by federal government revenue decreases, property tax decreases, as well as a decrease in investment income, primarily driven by reduced interest rates for our investments. The expense increase of $16.8 million from $608.9 million to $625.7 million was driven primarily by increases to K-12 instructional costs, as well as those seen in transportation. The increase in K-12 instructional costs is obviously due to increased enrollment, as well as increased salary costs, whereas transportation costs are truly being driven primarily from increased rates from our carriers. I will skip here. Instruction for K-12 represents 78.7% of total spend for the 2025-26 budget year. Almost 80% of our expenditures are spent in the classroom. The only significant shift is transportation at 4.9% as compared to 4.2%, with that being driven by increased routes as well as increased carrier rates. I would also like to note that, oh, I'm on the wrong, sorry, there we go. Sorry about that. I would also like to note it could be argued that operations and maintenance and transportation are very much in support of the classroom, as the vast majority of these result in getting the children to the classroom, as well as ensuring those classrooms are safe physical spaces. So now we'll go to this one. This slide highlights that salaries and benefits represent 78% of total expenses, which is relatively unchanged from the previous year. A more detailed breakdown of Alberta education funding is also provided. The increased funding, as has been discussed, relates to rate increases and increased enrollment. One item I would like to point out is the jump in program unit funding, or PUF funding, and the reduction in specialized learning support funding are actually due to a regrouping of funding streams, meaning that a portion of the funding previously grouped with specialized learning support is now included with the PUF funding. I want to highlight that this does not represent a decrease in funding for either area, but just a reorganization of how they are represented in our grant profile coming from Alberta Education. Next up are fee revenues. The transportation fee caused a $1.3 million increase in the fee revenues. The remaining increase in those fees is driven by enrollment growth and additional routes, with the opening of St. Joseph Bakita being a prime driver of increased routes. Next up is our accumulated surplus of operations. The budget results in a planned drawdown of the ASO of $11.7 million. The ending ASO balance as of August 31st, 2026 is expected to be $5 million, translating to an ASO of 4.1%. On the capital reserve side, a reminder that capital reserve can be used for all division sites. The source of these funds are sales of property and buildings held by the division. Financial services and facilities work together closely to determine the best use of these funds to address infrastructure needs across the division. Also keep in mind that infrastructure maintenance renewal and capital maintenance renewal funding is provided on an annual basis by the Government of Alberta, and to address similar deferred maintenance concerns, but it can only be used within operating school sites. For the upcoming year, the proposal involves spending the following amounts: approximately $1.8 million to address building envelope upgrades at Lumen Christi, $0.4 million to upgrade access controls in numerous sites in the division, as well as $0.5 million for accessibility upgrades at several schools in the division. The reason why I'm bringing this up is only because the recommendations put forward also include the use of these funds, which also requires board approval. With that, I would like to turn it back to Chief Superintendent Anderson for the recommendations.
Thank you, CFO Schultz, and for your team and Senior Manager Norm Schmidt, who's here today, for your support and diligence in developing 2025-2026 budget, acknowledging that we do have some challenges and have to provide and allocate additional dollars to ensure our students are supported. So, Madam Chair, there are 3 recommendations, and so I will read the first one. Our recommendation is that the Board of Trustees of Edmonton Catholic Separate School Division approves the division operating budget for 2025-2026 as presented.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson, CFO Schultz, and the entire financial team. Norm Schmidt, thank you for being here. You're always an invaluable asset to our division. Farrell Antoine, who's not here, but thank you to him as well. Thank you to all of you for your diligence and foresight in preparing our 2025-2026 division operating budget. On behalf of the board, we applaud the efforts of your team and your diligence and transparency. Through a comprehensive process and preliminary review that you alluded to, CFO Schultz, that preceded this final budget, you're right, this budget does not come as a surprise, and we thank you for that. Understanding that this budget is a strategic response to our division's growth and the increasing complexity of student needs. While we welcome, of course, the province's new adjusted funding model, where 30% of funding is based on current year enrollment and 70% is based on projected enrollment, which better serves growing divisions like ours, it does not fully offset the cost pressures that we're facing. Drawing on our ASO, we all know this is not sustainable long-term, but it is necessary at this time to respond to support our students and staff. We are committed to prudent financial stewardship, recognizing that by directing resources to where they are needed most, we are working to support every student's success. As this recommendation is a motion, and I do see Trustee Harris, our audit chair, as a matter of fact, in queue. I'm assuming, Trustee Harris, that you would like to make this motion. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Trustees of Edmonton Catholic Separate School Division approves the division operating budget for the 2025-2026 as presented.
Thank you. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
I do, Madam Chair. Thank you very much. I want to, of course, express very deep thanks to Chief Superintendent Anderson, CFL Schultz, and of course the entire team. And you've mentioned Norm and Farrell and others for preparing and for presenting this. I also want to thank all of those who were involved in all the back and forth and preparations to get everything together. All those folks that are involved in our schools and Joe Nacarado has been involved. So it's a huge team, and we very much appreciate you preparing this proposed budget for 2025, 2026. This, of course, as you've noted, has been reviewed by the Audit and Finance Committee, which is a committee of the whole board, and also includes two public members, Valerie Berger and Deacon Wayne Provençal. And of course, we are extremely thankful to them for their support for that committee. Their involvement is very much appreciated, and their insights from their line of sight is very much valued. Now, as noted in the presentation, while we are seeing some new funding increases, for which, of course, we are extremely thankful to the provincial government, we'll still be running a deficit for this upcoming year of $12.1 million, necessitating a drawdown of our accumulated operating surplus from operations, a drawdown of $11.7 million, leaving us with a total of $25.5 million in the accumulated surplus from operations at the end of the school year. Now, this level of drawdown, as you've noted, is not sustainable and will necessitate some further review over the next year to achieve some further efficiencies. That said, the division constantly looks for efficiencies and is currently spending, as you had identified, about 78.7% of its budget on the instructional envelope, right from early childhood through to 12. And this ratio fares extremely well, looking at benchmarks across the Alberta education system. The division also has, as you noted, a very low ratio for board and system administration, somewhere in the area of about 2.7%, whereas the cap on that is 3.2, so a delta of about 0.5%, which is very significant. And those that enables the division to channel those additional resources into our classrooms, which is always, of course, appreciated. So we very much wish to thank all who have contributed to this, to the preparation and the presentation of this budget, and we'll look forward to seeing if this can be approved by the board.
Thank you very much, Trustee Harris. And next in queue is Trustee Ingle. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This afternoon, we are looking to pass a very well-constructed and thoughtful budget, and I would like to thank Chief Superintendent Anderson, CFO Schultz, and the entire team for the work they did on this, because this budget reflects our commitment to students, staff, and Catholic education. At just over $500 million, this budget speaks to both the scope of our work and the careful stewardship behind every dollar. But there's something else that we have to recognize. I would like to thank the provincial government for any increases to education, and I would like to thank them for the announcements of much-needed infrastructure in our division and the good relationship we share with the ministry. But we're navigating significant challenges. Charter schools operate under a different set of rules, yet receive 100% public funding. Meanwhile, Alberta continues to invest less in education per student than any other province in Canada. Despite these obstacles, our staff and teachers continue to deliver outstanding results in academic education, but often at a great personal cost. This is not sustainable, and we're seeing that in the number of people that are leaving the profession. Our educators deserve the resources and support that match the excellence they provide every single day. It's time for the provincial government to step up and invest meaningfully, although we appreciate and we know that they have demands in all areas. I get that. I really get that. But it's for the sake of our children. I mean, an educated population, like education is the key. And early intervention is the key. And the government has to step up to the plate for the sake of each and every one of them, for the sake of the communities, for the sake of our aging population, for our future. I'm not trying to be on a soapbox, but although I really recognize the efforts that our administration has done, and I appreciate, and I think it's a great budget, and I appreciate the investment Alberta has in education, I think that it needs to be pointed out that we get something like 11,000 per student and the next lowest province gets 13. And yet look at our results. And that's got to come at a personal cost to someone. So although I will definitely approve this budget, and I am really grateful to Trustee Harris, who has done an excellent job of chairing the audit committee, and our public members and my colleagues who wrestle with every penny decision. I just felt that that was necessary to say. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Trustee Engel. Next in queue is Trustee Thabert. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And it's interesting because we've been looking for efficiencies since the day I got on this board. And it's something that has not changed. But the one thing that has changed is the classrooms. They are more complex than ever. Students' needs like, inclusive education, mental health challenges, student behavior, our schools are not the same and they have evolved. Education is complex. It takes a true village to educate a child. And I think that's what Edmonton Catholic Schools is. It's a village that takes care of the basic student needs, such as food, makes our kids feel loved and safe. We build student self-esteem to make each other reach their potential, whatever that is. And we do this all in a publicly funded Catholic education environment. And this budget will attempt to meet these needs. And like all other years, we will always focus our budget on today's dollars for today's kids. And that is always our number one focus as what we do in our Catholic schools. So this budget is something that, again, will do everything possible to meet all the needs that our kids need in our schools. And that's what we always focus on every single year. So yes, it's challenging times, and I agree with that. But we are in a complex world, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Thabert. Seeing no one else in queue, I'm just going to reiterate once again that while we will accommodate our enrollment growth, we will continue to support inclusive education, we will continue to manage inflation, we will continue to implement new curricula and provide transportation by drawing down on our ASO. We also have to be mindful of the fact that the sale of legacy sites is no longer a reliable source of future capital for us. And so this is an advocacy area that we will continue to address with the province. And of course, once again, we're going to reiterate the fact that we are going to have the opportunity to meet with the minister at the upcoming spring general meeting and to deal with our provincial association to ensure that we continue to have these conversations as we move forward. Thank you very much. I'll turn it back to you, Trustee Harris, should you wish to close your motion at this time. Oh, pardon me, I'll put you back in queue. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yes, you mentioned the advocacy. Thank you. That helps immensely. As we can see, there has been some impact in relation to that advocacy and the listening that's been going on at the provincial government and the ministry in relation to moving that from a 3-year weighted moving average to 2 years, with the heavy balance on what the forecast is going to be. 70% on that and 30. So that advocacy is bearing fruit, and we're very appreciative to see those changes that are coming from that. So with that said, that's all I wanted to say to close the motion. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Trustee Harris. And we'll proceed to call the vote at this time. Thank you. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, we'll note for the record that the motion is carried. We'll now turn it back to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson, for the second recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So our recommendation is that the Board of Trustees of Edmonton Catholic Separate School Division approves the use of up to $1.8 million for building envelope upgrades to Lumen Christi Catholic Education Center from capital reserves, approves the use of up to $0.4 million for electronics, alarm, and access control upgrades for numerous sites from capital reserves, and approves the use of up to $0.5 million in deferred capital for accessibility upgrades at several school sites.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson. And Trustee Harris, I see you back in queue. Please go ahead for the second motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Trustees of Edmonton Catholic School Separate School Division A, approves the use of up to 1.8 million for building envelope upgrades for the Lumen Christi Catholic Education Center from capital reserves. B, approves the use of up to 0.4 million for electronics, alarms, and access control upgrades for numerous sites from capital reserves. And C, approves the use of up to 0.5 million in deferred capital for accessibility upgrades at several school sites.
Thank you very much, Trustee Harris. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
Just very quickly, it's almost as if we have a punctuation on that first item, which is the upgrades of, given that we've got a bunch of fans going on in this room, and it's probably about 30 degrees. So, anyways, I'll obviously strongly encourage acceptance of this motion.
Thank you very much, Trustee Harris. And seeing no one else in queue, I will insert myself as well and just share my support for the motion, as these upgrades are, of course, essential to ensuring safety and good building maintenance is critical. I will now, and once again, you've already closed your motion. I shouldn't have done that, but thank you very much. We will now call the vote. Thank you. Thank you. As all trustees have voted in our favor, we'll note for the record that the second motion is also carried. We will now turn it back to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson, for the third recommendation.
Thank you. Our third recommendation is that the board, that based on the evidence provided in the division operating budget 2025-2026, the Board of Trustees determines that the following quality indicators have been met as per Board Policy 12, Appendix B, relative to the current evaluation period. Quality Indicator 4.4, 4.8, 8.4, 8.5, 9.1, and 10.3.
Thank you very much. And Trustee Harris, I'll turn it back to you for this third recommendation.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I move that based on the evidence provided in the Division Operating Budget 2025-26, the Board of Trustees determines the following quality indicators have been met per Board Policy 12, Appendix B, relative to the current evaluation period. As mentioned, quality indicators 4.4, 4.8, 8.4, 8.5, 9.1, and 10.3. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And seeing no one else in queue, we will now call the vote. Thank you. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, we'll note for the record that the motion is carried. Thank you. We will now proceed to the last agenda item under business of the meeting, board policy revisions. And I would ask that General Counsel Carbonic please provide the background and further information to the board as to the specific nature of the amendments, as well as the process by which the board is required to follow in order to amend policies of this nature. Thank you, General Counsel Carbonic. We'll turn it over to you.
I think Lisa's already on.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm asked Corporate Secretary Courtney Nacarado to join me at the table in light of the fact that she works closely with me when it comes to board policy revisions. So in terms of the background to this agenda item, pursuant to Board Policy 7, Appendix F, the board is obligated to review trustee remuneration in the final year of each four-year term of the board. As part of this review, the board is obligated to take into consideration budgetary and economic factors, the ability to attract and retain individuals as trustees, and any other factors that it may consider relevant at the time. Following review by a board committee consisting of Trustee Harris and Trustee Cherchansky, along with extensive discussion amongst the board as a whole, the attached amendments to Board Policy 7, Appendix F, which is the board policy dealing with trustee remuneration and expenses, and Board Policy 7, Appendix G, the available trustee honoraria and benefits. These are presented for the board's consideration. Board Policy 10 governs the process by which board policies can be updated. In that regard, 3 readings of any amendment to an existing policy are required. First and second reading of an amendment to an existing policy may occur at one meeting. Third and final reading shall occur not sooner than one regular board meeting after the first and second reading. unless there's a unanimous agreement amongst trustees present that the third and final reading may immediately follow the first and second reading. Based on that, in the event the board wishes to adopt the board policy amendments, the following motions are, the required motions are set out in the board package in terms of how to effect this change. And just for process, I want to advise the board that we have included not only clean copies of the policies if you adopt the changes as recommended, but also copies of the policies that have the changes tracked to them, so for your ease of reference. So at this point, I will turn it over to Madam Chair to see if there is a trustee who wishes to bring the necessary motions forward.
Thank you very much, General Counsel Carbonic. In consideration of General Counsel Carbonic's explanation, I'm going to just ask, would any of my colleagues like to make this motion? And I already see Vice Chair Tuchansky in queue, so I'm going to turn it over to you. Vice Chair Tuchansky, I will turn it to you to begin with the first reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Trustees approves the amendment of Board Policy 7, Appendix F, as attached and circulated to the Board of Trustees, effective October 21st, 2025.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Give me 1 sec here. My apologies. Thank you. I will now open questions and/or discussions for the rest of the board. And seeing none, I will turn it back to you, Vice Chair Tuchansky. In the event there is, okay. Trustee Harris, go ahead, please. My apologies.
Is it at this point that we're discussing the schedule, or is that just part of the, just the policy at this stage?
The schedule.
The schedule? Are you talking about,
Yeah, just.
is it the Appendix G?
Yeah, the appendix. Yeah.
So that would be the next one. This is Appendix F.
I'll hold off then, thank you.
Okay, if we're talking about the same thing. Yes, right? Correct?
Yes. Confuse me with schedule when I'm talking appendix.
Thank you very
like
much.
it's- Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Harris. Vice Chair Tuchansky, I will turn it back to you. I'm not sure whether it's relevant or not to close your motion at this time, but I will give you that courtesy.
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And at this time, I'll call the vote. Thank you. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, I will note for the record that the motion has passed. Vice Chair Tuchansky, would you like to move to second reading of the proposed policy changes?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Trustees approves the amendment of Board Policy 7, Appendix F, as attached and circulated to the Board of Trustees, effective October 21, 2025.
Thank you very much. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I will now once again open questions and/or discussion to the rest of the board. And seeing none, I'll turn it back to you out of courtesy. Vice Chair Tuchansky, if you wish to close your motion at this time.
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And at this time, I will once again call the vote. Thank you. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, we will note for the record that the motion has passed. In order to proceed to third and final reading of the policy amendments, trustees in attendance must provide unanimous approval to do so. Vice Chair Tuchansky, would you like to seek unanimous approval of the board to move to third reading of the amendment to Board Policy 7, Appendix F?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Trustees unanimously approve a motion to proceed to the third reading of the motion to move to the, to move to the third reading of the amendments to Board Policy 7, Appendix F, as attached and circulated to the Board of Trustees, effective October 21, 2025.
Thank you very much. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. And so I will once again open a discussion and/or questions to the board. And seeing none, I'm assuming you're not going to close your motion.
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. And so at this time, I will call the vote. Thank you. Once again, for the record, we'll note that all trustees have voted and are in favor, and the motion has passed. At this time, we will proceed to the third reading. Vice Chair Tuchansky, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Trustees approves the amendment of Board Policy 7, Appendix F, as attached and circulated to the Board of Trustees, effective October 21, 2025.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And once again, I will open queue to the board for any discussion and/or questions at this time. And Trustee Harris, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I don't see another opportunity to express this, so I'll do it here. I see obviously some changes to the schedule that in relation to remuneration. Just a quick comment on that. The main changes that we're seeing here are updates along allowance and expense lines, basically, which have not been changed since about 2017. I think it's 2017 when those were last changed, and are only reviewed once every 4 years. And so they're being set at this stage for the next board term, and they will only be reviewed 4 years down the road to be set for the following board term. So to me, this looks entirely reasonable. It should be noted that the amounts referenced also in the PD are amounts that are capped, which may or may not be fully utilized. So I'll just stop my comments there.
Thank you very much for bringing clarity to that, Trustee Harris. And seeing no one else in queue, I will turn it back to you, Vice Chair Tuchansky, should you wish to close your motion at this time.
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And at this time, I will call the vote. And as all trustees have voted and are in favor, we'll note for the record that the motion has passed. Thank you very much. General Counsel Carbonic, we want to thank you for your advisement in this process, and of course to our Corporate Secretary, Courtney Nacarado, for the assistance that she provided as well. We'll now turn it back to you, Vice Chair Tuchansky, to amend Board Policy 7, Appendix G.
Okay.
So Vice Chair Tuchansky, we'll move on to... Oh, do I need to put you back in queue? Yes, I do. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Trustees approves the amendment of Board Policy 7, Appendix G, as attached and circulated to the Board of Trustees, effective October 21, 2025.
Thank you very much. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I will open queue to the board for any questions and/or discussion. And seeing none, I will turn it back over to you should you wish to close your motion at this time.
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So we will now call the vote. Oh, that would be me. Thank you. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, myself included, we'd like to note for the record that all trustees are in favor and the motion has passed. Vice Chair Tuchansky, would you like to move to second reading of the proposed policy changes?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Trustees approves the amendment of Board Policy 7, Appendix G, as attached and circulated to the Board of Trustees, effective October 21, 2025.
Thank you very much. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And we will open up the queue, discussion and/or comments at this point. And seeing none, I'll turn it back over to you, Vice Chair Tuchansky, should you wish to close your motion at this time.
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And at this time, I will call the vote. Thank you. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, I'll note for the record that the motion has passed. In order to proceed to third and final reading of the policy amendments, trustees in attendance must provide unanimous approval to do so. Vice Chair Tuchansky, would you like to seek unanimous approval of the board to move to third reading of the amendment of Board Policy 7, Appendix G?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Trustees unanimously approve a motion to proceed to third reading of the motion of the amendment to Board Policy 7, Appendix G, as attached and circulated to the Board of Trustees, effective October 21, 2025.
Thank you very much. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And once again, I will afford the opportunity to the board for any questions and/or discussion. And seeing none, I'll turn it back over to you in the event that you would like to close your motion at this time.
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And we will now call the vote. Thank you. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, we'll note for the record that the motion has passed. At this time, we will proceed to third reading. Vice Chair Tuchansky, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Trustees approves the amendment of Board Policy 7, Appendix G, as attached and circulated to the Board of Trustees, effective October 21, 2025.
Thank you very much. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I will now open discussions and/or questions for the board. And seeing none, do you wish to close your motion at this time?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. And we will now call the vote. Thank you. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, we'll note for the record that the motion has passed. General Councillor Carbonic, thank you for your advisement in this process.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to take this opportunity also to acknowledge the work of the committee, and I know they were supported by Corporate Secretary Nacarado as well as Chief Financial Officer Chad and Schultz. Sorry, it's the microphone. Just there was extensive discussions on this and a lot of support on behalf of administration. So just want to acknowledge all the work that went into that from the administration's perspective.
Thank you, and thank you very much for CFO Schultz. Thank you very much. I know that you've met regularly with both our Corporate Secretary and General Counsel Carbonic, as well as our committee. So we had, of course, Trustee Harris and Vice Chair Tuchansky, and much of this has gone back to the board. So thank you to all for your great diligence in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
This now takes us to number 3, presentation and review of accountability reports 3.1, student support attendance in ECSD. And over to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We recognize the significant impact of attendance on academic achievement, emotional well-being, and long-term success of our students. The collaborative efforts of our staff and families are essential. Here to share more about how we support student attendance is Superintendent Fian, along with Division Principals Joe Gully and Christine Gannon. Over to you, Superintendent Fian.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson, Chair Palazzo, trustees. Enhancing attendance is not just about numbers. It directly correlates with student success and well-being. By exploring various strategies, we can create a more inclusive and individualized attendance plan that supports the environment that engages students and encourages students to attend school more regularly. In this report, Leadership Services, through collaboration with Superintendent Peterson and Manager Manalal, and in Student Services, Superintendent Nacarado and Manager Sparkling Eyes, we will share some of the important consideration and interventions we have in place in Edmonton Catholic schools to help support the positive attendance practices. It's my pleasure to present to you today alongside Division Principal Christine Gannon, who is our attendance lead, and Division Principal Joe Gully. Student attendance is a foundational indicator of academic achievement, emotional well-being, and long-term success. Chronic absenteeism, when a student misses a significant portion of the school year, is a powerful early warning sign of deeper struggles, including mental health challenges, academic barriers, and systemic inequities. Recognizing the serious and lasting impact of chronic absenteeism, Edmonton Catholic Schools is committed to an intentional, trauma-informed, and equity-centered approach to identifying, supporting, and re-engaging students who are chronically absent from school. According to EdCan Network, attending school matters for many reasons. Chronic absenteeism is a key risk factor for school dropout, as well as a host of other mental health, financial, and academic difficulties. School attendance problems often serve as a canary in the coal mine for schools at mental health agencies, signaling that children are struggling at school, at home, or in the community, long before other issues become visible. Research has shown that attendance problems have dynamic compounding relationships with mental health and academic achievement, often beginning as early as the elementary years.
Absenteeism among students can be attributed to various categories, including barriers, aversion, disengagement, and misconceptions. Barriers such as illness, unreliable transportation, and housing instability significantly impact attendance. Emotional factors like anxiety, academic difficulty, and bullying also play a critical role in students' willingness to attend school. Additionally, a lack of connection to school, feeling unrecognised or unsupported, and misconceptions about the importance of education can lead to disengagement. By addressing these categories, schools can develop targeted interventions to support students more effectively and improve attendance. Research conducted by Pathways to Education suggests that the rise in absenteeism is not solely attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic. Barriers such as low income, transportation challenges, lack of educational expectations, and low motivation towards school all contribute to absenteeism. Students from low socioeconomic backgrounds, students with disabilities, students facing discrimination, and students whose first language is not English all face unique barriers that contribute to higher rates of absenteeism. So for this reason, schools must view absenteeism through a trauma-informed lens, addressing underlying unmet needs, and ensuring that every single student has access to a safe adult and experience a sense of belonging and purpose within the school community. The report examined the impact of adverse childhood experiences, ACEs, on academic outcomes and found that communities with higher ACE scores had increased rates of suspension and unexcused absences, as well as lower rates of high school graduation and progression to post-secondary education, compared to communities with a lower prevalence of ACEs. So not only are individual children affected by traumatic experiences, but other students and school staff, broader communities, are also impacted by working with or by supporting a child who has experienced trauma. Thus, as schools maintain their critical focus on education and achievement, they must also acknowledge that mental health and wellness are deeply connected to student success in the classroom and the creation and maintaining of a thriving school environment.
In Alberta, the law mandates that children attend school to ensure the right to an education as outlined in the Education Act under Section 7, Compulsory Education. According to the Education Act, every child must attend school. The only exception to the rule is that if a student has already completed high school. However, there are also circumstances where a student may be excused from attending school. These include religious holidays and a valid exemption granted by a school board, or if the minister's parents and guardians provide a sufficient cause. While the board requires school attendance, it also places responsibility on school boards to ensure that students are attending regularly. School boards must make every reasonable effort to encourage and maintain attendance by closely monitoring students' attendance records and intervening when necessary to resolve the issues before they become chronic. As a part of the Education Act, attendance officers are empowered to take action if they believe a student is not attending school as required. If the enforcement efforts by the school or the attendance officer are unsuccessful, the matter can be referred to the attendance board. When a student fails to attend school as required under the Alberta Education Act, and all reasonable efforts to resolve the issue have been unsuccessful, Section 9, Attendance at School, outlines the process for escalating the matter to the attendance board. In Edmonton Catholic schools, the principal acts with the authority of the attendance officer and may initiate the referral to the attendance board. Before such a referral is made, the school must ensure that every possible intervention is attempted before formal escalation to the attendance board. It reflects the shared responsibility between family, schools, and the division to promote consistent school attendance and to address barriers proactively.
In our division, Student attendance is tracked using the Power School system and School Messenger platform. Teachers record attendance throughout the day with the frequency varying by school. Elementary schools typically record attendance twice daily, morning and afternoon. Junior high and high schools record attendance each period. Parents are able to notify schools of absences in advance through the Power School Parent Portal and the School Messenger mobile app or website, or again, by calling the schools directly. Monitoring attendance patterns is vital for identifying and addressing absenteeism by ensuring parents can easily report absences and that teachers accurately record absences. We enhance student safety and accountability. Once absences are processed via the system, school staff receive a report summarizing any absences that require further follow-up. To support communication and reporting of absences, we use the absent management system supported by the Safe Arrival system. Safe Arrival process is designed to streamline communication regarding student absences. Safe Arrival collects attendance information entered by teachers into Power School up to the notification time. Automated notifications are then sent via email, text, and phone call to parents and guardians of students marked absent. Notifications include a period a student was marked absent in. After the notification period, Safe Arrival then records any attendance, specifically absences, that have been collected up until the time of the notification. It then updates Power School with an absent reason, if it was collected, and adds a note to the attendance record indicating the reason for the absence, who submitted it, and when it was submitted. After each notification cycle, Safe Arrival summary report is then sent to the school's administrative support and other relevant staff members. This report includes all parent-reported absences and AU notifications, also known as unexcused absences, received during the most recent notification window. Summary reports will then provide administrators with valuable insights into attendance patterns, and the process enhances accountability and fosters a supportive environment for all students.
Supported by Superintendent Peterson, Manager Manilal, and many NDT staff from the Department of Learning Services, the division's intervention strategies are broken down into 4 tiers. Tier 1 universal prevention strategies are foundational for creating a supportive school environment, promoting student engagement and success for those missing 0 to 9% of instructional days. At Edmonton Catholic Schools, Tier 1 supports are embedded into everyday school life, focusing on prevention, early connection, and creating a sense of belonging for all of our students. This begins with a welcoming school culture that fosters holistic Catholic education, spiritual and moral development, and the joy of learning. Schools regularly review attendance data and use the teacher and administrator walk-around tool to observe learning spaces, promoting safe, caring relationships, and a culture of inclusion. Tier 1 efforts are supported by foundational division frameworks, including the Integrated Health and Wellbeing Framework, ECSD learning conditions, and the Action Plan for Comprehensive School Health, ensuring that students have relationships, environments, and learning conditions needed to thrive physically, emotionally, and academically. In Tier 2, targeted early intervention, the focus is on addressing specific attendance challenges for students missing 10 to 19% of instructional days. These supports respond to early signs of decline in attendance and disengagement, built on Tier 1's universal foundation. Teachers take deliberate steps to strengthen the relationships with students, while school staff reach with empathy to understand attendance challenges and co-develop next steps with their families. Efforts may include informal check-ins, parent evening invitations, and guidance on routines, school refusal, sleep, or technology use. Staff may also connect families to community-based supports and services. Schools can access targeted supports from ECSD's multidisciplinary teams, family liaison workers, and inclusive education consultants to assist with early intervention strategies. Additionally, caregiver education sessions from Recovery Alberta help families support their child's mental health and well-being, and school resource officers may assist with wellness checks to reconnect with students.
Tier 3 intensive intervention is crucial for providing a personalized support to students facing significant challenges for students that miss 20% or more of the instructional day. Tier 3 supports are designed for students facing significant barriers to regular attendance. These students require individualized wraparound support that prioritizes consistency, trust, and connection. The goal is to stabilize attendance and to re-engage students through strong school relationships, mental health services, and targeted family support. A trusted school staff member, such as a principal, assistant principal, or department head, acts as the main point of contact for students, initiating daily check-in and check-out routines, maintaining personal outreach, and coordinating communication with families to ensure students feel supported and visible within the school community. Family school liaison workers provide direct support to families, including home visits and service connections, while our mental health specialists offer one-on-one counseling to address students' mental health needs. In Tier 3, restorative practices help students reintegrate into school after extended absences. When attendance concerns persist, school teams collaborate with external partners like Recovery Alberta, Child and Family Services, Justice, and our school resource officers to provide coordinated support and access broader resources. In Tier 4, the attendance board referral is for students with persistent chronic absenteeism, despite all previous interventions. At this stage, the school collaborates with School Operations Services to determine if there's a referral to Alberta Education Attendance Board, or OSAR is what we refer to. This formal and documented process ensures accountability and continued support. The principal consults with school operations, reviews the attendance protocol and administrative procedure, and prepares a detailed submission if the referral threshold is met. This submission includes a record of all supports attempted, communications with family, and contextual factors contributing to absenteeism. Following a referral, school and division staff continue to support the student and family through ongoing check-ins, re-engagement efforts, and participation in hearings if needed. Multidisciplinary teams may remain involved to ensure sustained wraparound supports, with a focus on providing consistent, compassionate support throughout the process.
Principals play a vital role in fostering student attendance by leading school-based attendance plans, facilitating family communication, and connecting with division and community supports. They ensure the use of both school-based and division-level strategies before escalating issues. They work with inclusive education to tailor supports to each student's unique needs and provide leadership in determining next steps, including possible referrals to the attendance board when necessary. A support network is essential for addressing student absenteeism by re-engaging students and working closely with their families. Each school assembles a dedicated team, including administrators and teachers, learning coaches, counsellors, chaplains, and high school mentors, to provide tailored programming and ongoing support. In addition to these school-based teams, ECSD offers division-level supports to address underlying factors contributing to chronic absenteeism. These specialised services include access to mental health resources, inclusive education consultants, early intervention specialists, and multidisciplinary teams of psychologists, therapists, and social workers. There's also ongoing collaboration with School Operations Services through the Attendance Committee to ensure comprehensive support.
Community supports are essential for enhancing student attendance, and our Edmonton Catholic School Division partners with external agencies to strengthen the network of care available to students and family. Key supports include the YMCA Alternative Suspension Program, which helps at-risk students address the underlying issues and reintegrate into school. And OSAR, the Office of the Student Attendance and Re-Engagement, which coordinates formal attendance interventions when local supports are exhausted. It is crucial to keep a clear record of all contact attempts with the student and family before submitting a referral, including letters, emails, phone calls, home visits, welfare checks, and so on. If the school level and a division's support do not improve attendance, the principal may refer the case to the attendance board in consultation with school operations.
In summary. I'm sorry, Brandon. In summary, creating a school environment that sustains a culture of positive attendance is an active and multifaceted process. It begins with proactive parent communication, where teachers initiate contact with families to address attendance concerns and emphasize the impact of absences of learning. Throughout the year, the administration conducts regular follow-ups with parents or guardians if issues persist. Supportive measures are also crucial, involving family school liaison workers early on to assist families, particularly those with high absenteeism. By addressing underlying issues and providing necessary resources, administrators further explore potential contributing factors during follow-up meetings, and referrals to mental health teams or external agencies are made with the additional support being able to then be added. Indigenous Learning Services offers culturally sensitive support when applicable. For students who miss significant amounts of school, accommodations are made in their assessments to ensure they are not overwhelmed upon their return. If all efforts are exhausted without improvement, the school seeks further support from school operations services. But at the center of it all is an ongoing engagement with families and individualized student intervention strategies. Through open communication and support, we can and do make a difference. And now I would like to turn it back over to Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you, Superintendent Fian and Division Principals Gully and Gannon. The saying, "It takes a village," is so applicable when we talk about supporting our student attendance. And as shown in this report, our division remains committed to supporting students in attending school regularly, feeling connected to their learning, and experiencing success academically, socially, and spiritually. Our theme, People of Hope, reinforces the need to create environments where students feel the love of God and are instilled with a sense of hope and belonging. Madam Chair, our recommendation is that based on the evidence provided in the Supporting Student Attendance in Edmonton Catholic Schools report, the Board of Trustees determines that the following quality indicators have been met as per Board Policy 12, Appendix B, relative to the current evaluation period. Quality indicator 3.4.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson. 3.2.
My apologies.
It is 3.4 in the package. Yeah, we'll fix it. Okay, thank you very, very much. Thank you, Chief Superintendent Anderson, Superintendent Fian, Division Principals Gannon and Gully. I know that you work, we always await good news from you when we're sending those emails, and of course, all of our respective teams. It takes a village indeed. This is a comprehensive report and presentation that not only addresses supporting student attendance through you called it a multi-tiered system approach, but there are interventions, and there's a collaborative team and partnership approach to re-engage students. But it doesn't just do that. It aims to ensure their success through compassionate and engaging individuals. It's a family and a village. So thank you. It does truly make a difference, and you're right. Getting them to school ensures their success. It's getting them there. So thank you very much. I do see Trustee Taber in queue to make this motion. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is a motion, correct?
It is.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
I move that based on the evidence provided in the Supporting Student Attendance in Edmonton Catholic Schools report, the Board of Trustees determines that the following quality indicators have been met as per Board Policy 12, Appendix B, relative to the current evaluation period as read.
Thank you very much. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
I do. So this is way more than a legislative compliance. And the consequences go way beyond just a checked box. So, I'm grateful for the team that goes further and understands and tries to understand why. We explore barriers, traumas, disengagement, and we've invested in the technology really for accurate attendance for students. And for that, it's interesting that we do go above and beyond. And we do have a comprehensive action plan. We have the 4 tiers, and it goes above and beyond. And we never give up. When I look at, we don't just jump to tier 4. We don't go directly to the attendance board referral. There is a process and steps that we do truly try to get our students to succeed. So again, this is, it's more than, just our kids. So for me, I'm always thankful when I get a phone call. When I forget to call that my kids have a sick or appointment, and even though I get frustrated with myself, and then, my husband and I go back and forth, well, I thought you called. No, I thought you called. Well, you didn't call. I thought you called. And it's back and forth for a while, because then we get the phone call as a reminder, your child is not in school. So, and it's more about, taking those supports and really taking the love and making sure that our students are going to succeed. So again, this is way more than legislation compliance. It's more than a checklist. So thank you. Well done, everyone.
Thank you very much, Trustee Taber, and we certainly don't want you to be getting any of those AUs. Next in queue is Trustee Engel. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Fian and District Principals Gannon and Gully. A great report. And I just want to echo what the Trustee Taber said. When a child doesn't show up at school, the reason could be something that we need to intervene on, and certainly not punish it, but help it along. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Engel. Next in queue is Trustee Mutala. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just really appreciate this report because I know how important students' attendance is for the success of our students. And I am grateful for the collaborative efforts between the school staff, division teams, and the community partners to support our students and to identify any concerns or issues at earlier stages. I love our multi-tiered system of support framework with identifying and providing early interventions, and I think it's very successful in our division. And I just want to say thank you very much for the support of all the efforts provided to the staff and students, because it is about our students' success, and that's what we want. We want our kids in school because we know that we can help them along the way. So thank you for everything.
Thank you very much, Trustee Mutala. Vice Chair Tuchansky, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for this report. It is comprehensive. I know that we'd asked for it, and we're certainly grateful for it. Above all, I appreciate that our methods are not punitive. We know that our children are struggling, and it's interesting how much comes right back to mental health. And we know that that is one of the biggest concerns and problems with absenteeism. And the government is starting to make some strides with that. But, with the budget, there needs to be more and more help for our students. COVID certainly didn't start it, but it certainly amplified it and ramped it right up. Suddenly, children that were engaged, now became disengaged. And unfortunately, school is critical. That's where they learn to network. They get peer support from their friends, and everybody needs a friend. And if you can't get to school for whatever reason, that impacts everything, and it just continues to snowball for our kids throughout their lifetime, actually. And we're going to take a look back at this and see, holy doodle, this was a time that things really went sideways if we can't grab a handle on it. And we appreciate, well, I definitely appreciate all of the supports that you've put in place. And the app, you mentioned the app, and it is excellent. I've had a number of calls, some of the fancy ones, and not necessarily because I forgot, but it's amazing how great that is, and how quickly I'm informed, or my husband, and the idea that I can actually just quickly type back in the reason, or whatever is necessary. So the app has really, we didn't have that last year, and this year it's made a huge difference, just even in our family. So what you guys are doing is extraordinary. It's critical. I hope that we get some more funding from the government going forward, not just with schools, but outside health services, because it just breaks my heart to think where this could and probably will be going in the future with these kids. So thank you for all that you do and for this extraordinary report. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Tuchansky. I giggled a little bit because I remember being in high school the one time that I skipped the one time. And it wasn't AU at the time, you just skipped. And all my friends were doing it, so I did it. And I got the phone call at 7 o'clock at night from my English teacher, and my dad answered the phone. And he covered for me. He did. Yeah, that's one of these. He covered for me and said, yes, yeah, no, I'm aware, because I very quickly was trying to tell him why I didn't go to class. He got off the phone and he said, and that's the last time. And it was the last time. That said, there's no other trustees in queue. Extraordinary. Trustee Tiber, I'll turn it back to you should you wish to close your motion at this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank you again, all the community partners, the parents, the schools, the teachers, the families, our SOS team. And we cannot do this alone. And you do make a difference. So for that, please continue your excellent work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. One thing, and I shouldn't be talking after you've closed your motion, but I just wanted to commend you on your immediacy. Like, you get back to us immediately. So thank you. I know that for parents, that's extremely difficult when they're struggling with something. They want it done like yesterday. And so thank you. You're exceptional in that way, and we don't always answer back, but we certainly get the emails, and we're extremely appreciative. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will now call the vote. Thank you. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, we'll note for the record that the motion is carried. Thank you once again. We'll now proceed to 3.2, Engaging Voice Report, and we'll turn it back over to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you very much. Engaging the voice of our staff, students, and their families is a collaborative effort, much like we heard in the previous report. Today we have Superintendent Fiacco and Superintendent Peterson, as well as members of their team, who will share how we remain responsive to ensure we provide excellent Catholic education in our division. So I will turn it over to Superintendent Fiacco to begin.
Thank you, Chief Superintendent Anderson. Madam Chair, through the board, you're going to hear the word collaboration a lot in this report, and I just want to take this opportunity to express Ed Planning's gratitude to Learning Services for the wonderful collaborative work we did. So thank you, Superintendent Peterson, and to our directors and managers. It was a pleasure to compile this report for the board. At Edmonton Catholic Schools, collaboration is at the heart of everything we do. By fostering strong partnerships among students, families, educators, and community members, we create a vibrant and inclusive learning environment where every voice matters. The Engaging Voices report highlights our ongoing efforts to strengthen these connections and enhance educational experiences for all. Through focused initiatives aimed at improving program retention, accessibility, and student success, this report shows how meaningful engagement within the ECSD community drives positive outcomes and lasting impact. Goal 02 reflects Edmonton Catholic Schools' commitment to building a more connected, responsive, and effective organization. By emphasizing communication, collaboration, and engagement among staff, this goal supports the division's ability to meet the evolving needs of students and the broader community. This focus is deeply rooted in a division plan for continuous growth, which has long championed the principles of collaboration, resource alignment, and continuous improvement. Goal 02 builds on this foundation by addressing three key drivers: student needs, community feedback, and board direction. By aligning with the division plan's emphasis on Christ-centered learning environments and operational excellence, Goal 02 ensures that ECSD continues to grow as a unified, mission-driven community, one where every staff member is empowered to contribute to student success. This goal is vital because meaningful engagement ensures that decisions are grounded in the lived experiences of those most directly impacted. By actively involving students, families, and staff, ECSD fosters a shared sense of purpose and belonging that strengthens trust, transparency, and collaboration across the division. This inclusive approach not only builds stronger relationships, but also fuels innovation and responsiveness, allowing programs and services to evolve in step with the changing needs of the community. As one parent shared, engaging with other families learning to use AAC has been so important for us. This kind of feedback reflects how authentic engagement can empower individuals, build confidence, and create lasting connections well beyond the classroom. In alignment with Goal 02, Edmonton Catholic Schools has actively engaged its community through a variety of targeted events designed to listen, learn, and lead with purpose. These initiatives created meaningful opportunities for students, families, and staff to share their voices and shape the future of education in the division. Key engagement events included French immersion and Spanish bilingual program sessions, where families provided input on language learning pathways and cultural enrichment opportunities. Enhanced academic program consultations, which gathered feedback to ensure high-achieving students are supported through rigorous and responsive programming. Attendance boundary engagement for St. Josephine Bakita Catholic School, where community members collaborated on decisions impacting school access and neighborhood planning. AAC Goes to School and AAC Goes Home, a powerful initiative that brought families together to explore how augmentative and alternative communication can support students both in the classroom and at home. Career and Bridging Fair, which connected students with post-secondary institutions, employers, and community partners to explore future pathways and build confidence in life beyond school. These events not only inform division planning, but also strengthen trust, transparency, and collaboration, ensuring that programs and services continue to evolve in response to the real needs and aspirations of the ECSD community. To ensure transparency and keep the community informed, Edmonton Catholic Schools shares the outcomes of engagement activities through accessible and timely communication. The insights gathered are compiled into What We Heard reports, which summarize key themes, feedback, and next steps. These reports are made available through multiple channels, including the division and school websites, school messenger email updates, and school newsletters. By using a variety of platforms, ECSD ensures that families, staff, and community members can easily access results and see how their voices are shaping the decisions across the division. Edmonton Catholic School Division remains steadfast in its commitment to engaging the voices of students, families, and staff in all decision-making processes. By actively seeking and incorporating feedback from our diverse community, we ensure that our educational programs are responsive, inclusive, and aligned with the needs and aspirations of those that we serve. This collaborative approach not only enhances the quality of education, but also fosters a strong sense of belonging and partnership within our division. And together, we will continue to build a vibrant and supportive learning environment where every voice is heard and valued. And with that, I would like to turn it back to Chief Superintendent Anderson to read the recommendation.
Thank you, Superintendent Fee and Superintendent Peterson and your teams. We know the ongoing engagement and feedback is critical as we use data for informed decision-making to better support our students, staff, and to build stronger relationships between our division and community partners. And so our recommendation is that based on the evidence provided in the Engaging Voice report, the board determines that the following quality indicators have been met as per Board Policy 12, Appendix B, relative to the current evaluation period. Quality indicator 10.1, 10.3, and 10.5.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson, Superintendents Fiacco and Peterson, and your respective teams for this excellent report and presentation in our commitment to, of course, promoting effective homeschool relations through collaboration, ongoing communication, and positive public engagement. As this recommendation requires a motion, and I do see Trustee Mutala in queue, I'll turn it to you, Trustee Mutala, to please make this motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that based on the evidence provided in the Engage in Voice report, the board determines the following quality indicators have been met as per Board Policy 12, Appendix B, relative to the current evaluation period. Quality indicator 10.1, 10.3, and 10.5.
Thank you very much. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
I sure do. Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a really wonderful report. I want to thank all of the team that worked on this, because it does take a village to put this all together. I was really surprised at how many engagements that you had. I didn't realize that you had all these different engagements, like the French immersion and Spanish bilingual, our enhanced academic program, the attendance boundaries, the ACC and the AAC, and the career and bridging. This is very important that all of the voices of our students and families and staff, they are part of our planning and decision-making. And it is really important for them because they want to have all their voices heard and they want to feel part of the community. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much, Trustee Mutala. Next in queue is Trustee Engel. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Superintendent Fiacco, for the report. And I guess it's kind of interesting because this weekend, the board worked on a survey from the facilitator on the board's, I guess it's an evaluation of our performance. And one of our biggest goals is to ensure that we communicate with the community. So I'm not surprised at everything we did because we had to put it in our survey. And as I was going through it, I thought, wow, we really communicated a lot with our community because I went to the report that you provided for us here. And because it is so important to our success as a board, we can't thank you enough. Yourself and the leadership of Chief Superintendent Anderson, all of our superintendents coming to our community of school council meetings, our superintendents, if we're at a board meeting where we need to be very careful and know exactly what the parents are telling us in terms of what their school community needs, it's an easy call, and one of the administrators will be with us to support us in gathering parent information. So I think we just work so well together. We try very hard to work well to make sure you can ensure your goals. And through the survey that we filled out, and this report just being handy, we find out how hard you're working to help us fulfill our goals. So it's a win-win. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Engel. Well said. Vice Chair Tuchansky, you're next in queue. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the work you guys did. It was a lot of work, but so critical to engage our parents and our families because they do have a voice. And you know, we owe it to them to listen to it. Doesn't always mean that what they want will happen, but the idea that we actually take that in consideration and set up evenings and opportunities for them to come is very important. Like we learned with Student Voice, you know, sometimes there's a better way to do something. And I know we've learned that in the past, and I think it's great that you still do this, knowing the time it takes, but it's so critical because that's also another way to foster buy-in. When you've got somebody that's had an opportunity to actually get some skin in the game. So I know it's a lot of work, and to engage all of this and all across the city, it's a lot, but we are certainly grateful, and it really is critical work. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Tuchansky. Trustee Tiber, you're next in queue. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just to build on that, I really appreciate closing the loop, being able to have multiple platforms. You know, when parents come and they take their time out of their evenings or weekends or to do a survey, you know, that's a lot of work for a parent. But it's only right that they are able to now see how their voice was able to, you know, come to a survey or impact the division. So I really, really appreciate the effort it's taken to literally close the loop. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Tiber. Trustee Mutala, I'll turn it back to you should you wish to close your motion at this time.
No, thank you. Good.
Thank you. And so we will now call the vote. Okay, as all trustees have voted on in favor, we'll note for the record that the motion is carried. We will now proceed to the last agenda item under presentation and review of accountability reports 3.3, the 5 marks of Catholic School Identity and Faith Formation Plan 2025-2026, and we'll turn it over to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you very much. So last June, we returned to establishing an annual plan for schools and departments to participate in with the goal to enhance our Catholic identity. The 5 marks of Catholic School Identity and Faith Formation Plan sets common expectations across the division with respect to how our Catholic faith is manifested and brought to life for students and staff each day. While we celebrate our division annual survey results, where we have over 92% of students, parents, and teachers who agree that we provide an environment for students to serve, celebrate, and grow in their Catholic faith, and we have 97% of all staff who feel our division has a strong Catholic identity, we continue to ensure our faith remains a priority to enhance our Catholic identity. And so our division priority, Living Our Faith, Goal F1, ECSD schools and departments will clearly demonstrate their Catholic identity as presented in the 5 marks of Catholic School Identity model. And so as we reflect on this past year, we celebrate the successes achieved. A few examples include our school communities having reviewed their mission statements, and want to acknowledge the support of communications who helped to create new banners as schools revise those mission statements, and they're prominently displayed in our schools. We also returned to in-person Youth Faith Day and for our Faith Development Day. And even with our return to a committee organizing Grace for Heart and Soul, where we offer voice and choice for staff to continue growing in their faith. Other examples of work this year, collaboration between departments and partners continue to grow and flourish. We have our new Permeation SharePoint site and resources, and that was collaboration between Learning Services and Religious Education Services. We have our schools and departments creating faith formation plans, and we also had division-wide gatherings of the principals, parish priests, trustees, and archdiocese staff this year, which was new. And so to ensure that we fulfill our division priority of living our faith, we will implement the 25-26 5 marks and faith formation plan, building on the success of this year. A few things to point out. We have focused on revisiting our vision statements to be more student-centered, aligning it with our revised missions. And ultimately, we want to continue our shared ownership and responsibility for our division's Catholic identity. And I do want to acknowledge that this work is a result of the collaboration of multiple departments. And I want to thank everyone for their support in bringing this faith formation plan to life, including trustees for your continued support in promoting and protecting Catholic education. And so at this time, Madam Chair, our recommendation is that based on the evidence provided in the 5 marks Catholic Identity Faith Formation Plan 24-25 Progress Report and our new plan for 25-26, the Board of Trustees determines that the following quality indicators have been met as per Board Policy 12 Appendix B relative to the current evaluation period. Quality Indicator 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and 8.3.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson, for this excellent progress report and updated plan for 2025-2026 as it reflects our responsibility for our Catholic identity and actively promote Catholic education. As this recommendation requires a motion, I had put Vice Chair Tuchansky in queue. I'm not putting you in queue?
Well, yeah, you did, but it went away.
It went away, but I'll put you back. Give me 1 sec. Go ahead. You were first in queue. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'd like to make the motion that based on the evidence provided in the 5 marks of Catholic School Identity and Faith Formation Plan 2024-2025, Progress Report and Plan for 2025-26, the Board of Trustees determines that the following quality indicators have been met as read as per Board Policy 12, Appendix B, relative to the current evaluation period.
Thank you very much. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
Why, yes, I do. Thank you. Obviously, this is critical. We're a Catholic division, so anytime we can shout from the rooftops what we do, we want to. But I have to say, this was an extraordinary year. We just had so many wonderful opportunities. I know we all got to go to Father Mike Moreau Faith Day in person again this year. And that was unbelievable to see those kids come rolling off the bus, just joyful, and they could hardly wait to get in. They spit their gum out, they put their drinks down, and they entered that church with joy. And then they were the most reverent group. They were quiet. They didn't say a peep when they were engaged, and when they needed to be quiet, they were. And I couldn't believe it, because I can tell you, we had our own staff faith day, and it was extraordinary also. But it's funny how you kind of get caught up in the joy of the moment. And certainly it was a little harder to be reverent as an adult, because you were just so excited to be there. But these kids were really, really remarkable. So I'm so glad, because my older child was part of that in the older days, and it was lovely. So to see us come back to that and not online, it makes such a big, big difference for that. And the only other thing I want to highlight was the opportunity to get together with some of our parish priests and our senior leadership, meeting the priests here. It was really engaging, and the opportunity to talk about some things that are on their minds and on our minds, and the opportunity to talk about evangelization, that they actually acknowledge that it often starts in the schools. And then that led to discussions on numbers dropping for the sacraments, communion and confirmation, and how do we get that done so that there is an opportunity to have more and more kids get all of their sacraments. And maybe, there's an opportunity going forward to lead that charge from the schools rather than from the parish, because of course we've got them from 8:30 to 3. So, it was nice to hear them talk about that too, recognizing that, it wasn't quite as successful as they originally had hoped it be from the school, from the church perspective, knowing that evangelization is the other direction. So anyway, it was extraordinary, and I can hardly wait, if I'm elected, for 2025, 2026 going forward.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Tuchansky. And I'm really happy that you brought up the Father Mike Moreau Day. It was, you're right, it was incredible. And to see these junior high kids, like grade 8, and, it's just not cool to go running up to a stage. And I remember when Jesse, when Jesse called them up and said, okay, so I need 10 students, or I need 15, and then and I didn't count them, but it looked like there was 50 or 60 on the stage, and they were just joyful to be singing and dancing and celebrating their faith. So thank you for bringing that up. Excellent. And I do see Trustee Ingle in queue. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Trustee Truchansky said it very well. But here again, like the last item, when we talked about community engagement and parent engagement, one of the biggies for the Board of Trustees to be successful at is premiation of our faith and protection of Catholic education. So again, we just finished our survey, and reflecting on the things that have been done in this area, I just want to repeat what I said. Thank you to Chief Superintendent and her leadership team, and thank you to all of us for supporting the board in that goal. All of it's covered. You create the atmosphere for teachers to get professional development. We have a fantastic relationship with Newman Theological College. We just met with them, and we talked about Father Moreau Youth Day, and we look to Superintendent Fian and Sandy Tellerico, who brought us the presentation of how we're going to be promoting Catholic education in our schools and what our premiation concentration points are like. And that's really great for us as trustees to assure the parents that we're working on it. So again, thank you very much for that, because it just shows how closely our goals mesh and how well we work together. So I can't thank you enough. And I just want to mention Father Mark, who introduced us to the five marks of Catholic Archbishop Mark Miller. He was a father once. Archbishop Mark Miller, who introduced us to the 5 marks of Catholic education in Sherwood Park, and how well that superintendents and Chief Superintendent Anderson have taken those marks and implemented them in the plan for the future. So thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you very much, Trustee Ingle. Trustee Mutala, you're next in queue. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm just saying a big thank you to Chief Superintendent Anderson and the whole team that put this report together. You know what's so good about it, what I like about it, is our framework sets a common expectation across all of our schools with respect to on how our Catholic faith is manifested and brought to life for our students and our staff every day, because we know that it has to be integrated and permeated through all of our subjects and all of our schools. So this report holds the accountability and responsibility for promoting our Catholic identity, and this is what we are about. This is when people ask why we are different. This is why we are different. This is really important for us.
Thank you very much, Trustee Mutala. Next in queue is Trustee Tiber. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I do appreciate that during our Father Mike Moreau Youth Day, when those students did come rushing up, somebody did come running behind them to put out all the candles, because it was a mad rush. But I also do appreciate everything that's in this report and everything that happens in our schools. And I mean, one of the things that, we always get is, why do we have publicly funded Catholic education? But again, it's not that we are better or any of that. It's just that we're different. And this is why we're different. This is exactly what we're talking about. It's about all of the quality indicators that are listed. It's about the 5 marks of Catholic education. It's about our Father Mike Moreau Youth Day. It's what we do for our kids. So thank you for this report. It's wonderful when we're able to talk about it and we have concrete examples of how it is different. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Tiber. Trustee Harris, you're next in queue.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Oftentimes just think that we have, of course, here in Alberta, one of the very best education systems in the world. I think that, that is helped by the fact that we have, a Catholic education system that contributes to that. I mean, we have a phenomenal public system, education system in Alberta. We applaud that system. We do a lot of work with that system. There were sister divisions. And yet this is why we exist. This is our raison d'etre. We have, obviously, the education of our children is extremely, it's very, very important. So too is the formation in our Catholic tradition. So it's one of the things that really makes, it's our raison d'etre. And I do like the way that that administration has drilled down into this and has created sort of a very robust framework for how this happens in our schools. Very nice to see the progress that's being made as well. Thank you so much for this update. And just want to express deep, deep thanks to everybody who's involved in delivering this and who is fully committed to making sure that our kids get an excellent education in an authentically Catholic tradition. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Trustee Harris. And I see Vice Chair Jurchansky back in queue. I'm assuming that's to close your motion?
It is. Thank you. Yes, and again, thank you to Chief Superintendent Anderson and our senior leadership team. You guys are great. It's important when you support this as wholly as you do. Our staff see that, and it's very important to us. And, when I think a couple years ago when the Religious Ed Department was created, then I thought, okay, now we are all definitely paddling the boat in the same direction. And they are truly an extraordinary group and supported by our 2 division chaplains. And, when they go out to our schools, I just feel like we are in good hands. Those 2 are just extraordinary. And, I almost want to go in elbows high when they are speaking, just to make sure I get in front of anybody else that might be in my way. So anyway, with that, thank you very much, Madam Chair. This is extraordinary.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Jurchansky. And as seeing no one else in queue, we will now call the vote. Thank you. As all trustees have voted and are in favor, we'll note for the record that the motion has passed. And this now takes us to 4.1, a board chair report. And I want to read it all, but I won't because I recognize what time it is. But please indulge us just for a few more minutes, because it's so important to the board to highlight that during the month of May, we had the privilege to recognize and celebrate the extraordinary dedication and accomplishments of our staff and our students, from honoring long-serving staff and bidding farewell to retiring colleagues, to celebrating the unique gifts of our students. We've had many reminders of the strength and spirit that define our division, as was reinforced today through all of the reports. A highlight of the month, of course, was the Board of Trustees Retirement Gala, where the board had the privilege of honoring the retirement of individuals who have faithfully served our division. This is a cherished opportunity for the board to be able to express our deep appreciation and celebrate the careers of all those who have made a lasting impact in our divisions, and for us to be able to celebrate their legacy. The true heart of Edmonton Catholic Schools is our people. The achievements of our students are a reflection of the commitment, skill, and passion of our staff across all employee groups, ATA, AUPE, Unifor, and out of scope. Thank you. Each one of our staff from these employee groups leaves a legacy of service and care, and we are sincerely grateful for this. And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't also share that at Blueprints, we were blessed to witness the induction of a new Pope, Pope Leo XIV. And so to witness that and be together as a board and be able to celebrate with our administrators was, of course, a joy and an honor to call ourselves Catholics. So thank you very much. So see, I did go very, very fast. And so I will read the recommendation for the record that the Board of Trustees acknowledges receipt of the board chair report on hashtag ECSD Faith Inspires April 25, 2025 to May 22nd, 2025 for information purposes. And this now takes us to 4.2, Chief Superintendent Report, and over to you, Chief Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And you actually covered a lot of things I was going to say, so this might be a shorter report as well. Just wanted to point out that we continue to journey on our Jubilee of Hope as Pilgrims of Hope, and this week was great in that all our schools and sites celebrated a liturgy to recognize that, along with all the many activities. But that was one coordinated event on Monday. Under Learning Excellence, just want to acknowledge that our students in grades 6 and 9 and diploma prep sessions are happening, provincial achievement tests, and it's busy in our schools right now, and just want to acknowledge the work that our staff do to ensure that our students are well prepared for these. Those are stressful times for them, so everything that our staff does is greatly appreciated. We also, in addition to the board's retirement gala, we attended Unifor 52A banquet, and that, of course, is another important milestone to recognize. And finally, in embracing diversity, a few things that happened among many, but the Upstander Regional Showcase that happened here, our Ben Calf Robe Traditional Powwow, which was well attended, and the month of May, where we marked Asian Heritage Month. So again, lots to celebrate across the division. And so the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees acknowledges receipt of the Chief Superintendent's report on hashtag ECSD Faith Inspires May 2025 for information purposes.
Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Anderson. And once again, on behalf of the board, we want to applaud you and your team. All of the division priorities that you referenced today are absolute. They're extraordinary. They're outstanding. And the fact that your team is always so responsive to seeking improvement and growth in our division, of course, speaks volumes to who we are as Edmonton Catholic. Now, I'm going to read the recommendation for the record that the Board of Trustees acknowledges receipt of the Chief Superintendent's report on hashtag ECSD Faith Inspires May 2025 for information purposes. And before I go to the closing prayer, I want to make just one comment. Someone today said, it was a full house in here. And it was 3 o'clock. And a lot of people just they were very fortunate if you were first, because you got to kind of slip out first. But some of you are still sitting here, even though you didn't have to. And now those of you who work at Lumen Christi, you may not have had a choice, but thank you regardless. But there are 3 individuals who are still in the gallery after all that time. So we have Principal Miskew, who's at the back. We have one of our assistant principal, and I'm sure she probably even taught today, assistant principal Haminashi Lohner, and of course our ATA local president, Amber Nicholson. To the 3 of you, in addition to everyone else. We want to give you a round of applause for still being here, so thank you. Yeah. It's not like you don't have anything else, and plus it's 100 degrees in here, right? That being said, we will move on to 5.1, closing prayer, and we'll turn it over to Trustee Mutala to please lead us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And May is one of the months that we honor Mary. So I just want to say a Hail Mary. We will say a Hail Mary to ask her for her help and support. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much. And I do see Trustee Ingle in queue. I'm wondering if that's because you would like to make the motion to adjourn.
Well, I was wondering, there was a thing I was going to ask for some information.
Yeah, no.
I'd like to make the motion to adjourn and echo Chair Palazzo's comments on how great it was to be able to look out at all of you still encouraging us with nods and smiles. Yay, you.
Thank goodness there's no hockey game tonight, right?
There is,
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right, but not, you don't have to.
those
we don't-
guys.
Yeah, those guys, not us. Anyway, thank you very much. We will now call the vote. I don't think anybody wants to, Trustee Ingle, you did speak to your motion?
I already did,
So we'll
yep.
just call the
And-
vote?
Yep.
Thank you, and surprisingly, all trustees have voted and are in favor, and so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you once again. Meeting adjourned. Everyone, have a wonderful
nice
evening.
night.
We'll see you in